Hello, friends, and welcome to Bottle and Bond, a discussion of the James Bond movies and lore alongside spirited companions. I am Mike Scott, and I have been watching James Bond movies for nearly 30 years, but have never really taken a deep dive into the history and lore of this film franchise. So, alongside my friend Charlie, we are going to delve into each of the 25 Eon-produced movies. During this episode, we will be enjoying a beverage or two that would pair nicely with the movie. Today, we will be discussing the 21st movie in the franchise, 2006's Casino Royale. So find your cigarette case, prepare your favorite cocktail, shaken not stirred of course, and leave your hat at the door while we ponder this question. Does this movie scratch that Bond itch? This is episode 0021, Casino Royale. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Got an exciting episode ahead of us.
Yeah, it will be exciting.
We will talk about the companion beverages first. We actually have 3 this time. We originally were only going to have 2.
But we're just crazy.
Yeah, we are crazy. So our first one's going to be a Mount Gay rum with soda, and it is Navy strength rum.
That could be trouble.
Yeah.
I was not even close to being in the Navy.
Yeah. And we're going to have later on a Vesper Martini, of course. That one has been on the books since we started doing this podcast.
Yeah, you always knew you had to have it because he invents it.
Yep. And this is for all of our dear listeners that have been dying to hear this. We will also be having Bollinger Brut Special Cuvée Champagne. We have very, very good friends, very good supporters of our show that bought us a bottle of Bollinger.
You mean the only people who
Yes,
listen
the
to
2
this
listeners
show?
that will now hear this and hear all of our thanks.
And we thank them greatly. And we're not stopping with just a drink. Either.
No.
This is going to be something.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get there.
Yeah. Errors and omissions. One of our 2 listeners that bought us this, she pointed out to me that I was mispronouncing Halle Berry's name throughout the last episode. I said Holly. I've always said Halle Berry. It's Halle Berry. I apologize.
What is the holiday season?
Yes. It's the season to be merry. Oh, wait, no.
No.
It's Christmas vacation. We have a listener comment from Countess Tracy. She wants to know what the DMZ is.
Oh.
So the DMZ is the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. It was established in the early 50s after the Korean War ended, after Hawkeye and Radar and all of them got out of the medical tent and flew off. They established a demilitarized zone.
Well, they drove to the peace talks because Hawkeye wanted to try himself to make the peace talks happen.
Nice.
Have you watched?
Is that when he is that when he was like more soapboxy? I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good ones. You really need to watch all of MASH. It's really outstanding.
I've done about 3 seasons. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yes, the demilitarized zone is a basically like a 2.5 mile gap between North and South Korea
And it's along a particular parallel, right? Is it 38th, 42nd?
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
along a particular parallel. All right, listeners, you can tell us.
So there you go. That's the DMZ. A little personal news for anybody that didn't already know this. I recently appeared on a podcast called Movie Night Extravaganza to discuss Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Had a great time with that. So just wanted to give a special thanks to Rock God, Conan Neutron, for inviting me on, as well as Forrest Miller and Christina Oakes for letting me join in the fun. My companion beverage for that was Wild Turkey 101, Eddie Valiant's favorite drink.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is it one of
not
those
bad.
that has a flammability warning on the label? I know
'cause
Bacardi
it's just
Bacardi
101.
151 does.
Yeah, because 101's only 50%. So.
We thought we were so cool in college drinking Bacardi 151 because it was so dangerous because it could light on fire. That shows you how smart college students are.
Might say something about what it does to your insides.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it's not that great for you.
Let's go to the plot summary. Upon earning his 00 status by taking out a dirty section chief, James Bond is sent to Madagascar to apprehend a parkour bomb maker, but ultimately is forced to kill him, blowing up an embassy in the process. Bond eventually heads to the Bahamas to track down the bomb maker's contact, Alex Dimitrios, who is heading to Miami to recruit another bomber to destroy a prototype Skyfleet jet. The villainous banker Le Chiffre was behind the attempted bombing, using it to profit from the Skyfleet's ruin and preserve his client's funds. Foiled by Bond, Le Chiffre sets up a high-stakes poker game in Montenegro to recoup his lost earnings. Treasury accountant Vesper Lynd brings Bond $10 million to join the game. After initially losing that $10 million, Bond is convinced to rejoin the game by CIA agent Felix Leiter, ultimately overcoming Le Chiffre and claiming the prize. Vesper then is kidnapped. Bond pursues her and is ultimately tortured in a most emasculating way. Before Bond can be fed that which he doesn't seem to care about, Le Chiffre is killed by a mysterious man named Mr. White. Bond and Lynd survive, slap and tickle, and make their way to Venice as Bond resigns from the service. Vesper then betrays Bond, takes the poker winnings, and ultimately kills herself over the guilt of the betrayal. After discovering who recovered the money, James Bond, introduces himself to Mr. White.
That's something.
That is something.
Yeah.
Here's our cast. We have Daniel Craig as James Bond, first of 5 appearances. Eva Green as Vesper Lynd.
I mean, I'd have gotten a job at the Treasury if I knew that my coworkers would be like Vesper Lynd.
Nice. Mads Mikkelsen is Le Chiffre.
Do you know what La Chiffre or La Chiffre or whatever they call him means in French?
I did, but now I've forgotten.
It's either the number or the cipher.
Ah, yes. Judi Dench as M. This is the 5th of 7 appearances. Jeffrey Wright as Felix Leiter, first of 3 appearances. Giancarlo Giannini as Rene Mathis. Katerina Marino as Solange Dimitrios. Simon Abkarian as Alex Dimitrios. Isaac de Bankroll as Stephen Obano. I don't know if that's right. That may have autocorrected. I'll look at that and put in errors and omissions next time. Jesper Christensen as Mr. White. Ivana Milosevic as Valenka. Sebastian Tucan as Molaka. And Tobias Menzies as Villiers. This was directed by Martin Campbell, second of 2. Screenplay by Neil Purvis, Robert Wade, and Paul Haggis. Paul Haggis, known for the movie Crash from 2005 that shocked the world and won Best Picture and has not aged well. Music by David Arnold, cinematography by Phil Mayhew, and production design still by Peter Lamont. This guy's been doing it forever.
Well,
I think he worked on Goldfinger.
Wow.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah.
Although after that last one,
yeah,
I might have fired him, actually.
Yeah. Theme song, You Know My Name by Chris Cornell. Written by Chris Cornell and David Arnold.
Now, this is one of your favorites, right?
We'll see. UK premiere, November 14th, 2006, at the Odious Leicester Square, the Odeon West End, and the Empire.
Thank goodness. We're back to the Odeon at Leicester Square.
UK premiere was November 16th, 2006. US premiere was November 17th, 2006. Budget, adjusted for inflation, it cost $120 million. Worldwide box office, adjusted for inflation, it made $821.2 million. Good for 8th out of 25.
Interesting. I would actually really like to see the list in order. Do you have that anywhere?
I do.
All right. We'll have to look at that when we do our episode talking about all our rankings.
Yeah. A much better James Bond website than our podcast is the James Bond dossier, which I always put in the show notes, and they got a nice breakdown of a bunch of different stuff with that, like which actor made the most per movie, things like that. Yeah.
They got serious time on their hands.
They do. Host history with the film. This is the first James Bond movie I watched in the theaters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
not me, as you know. I saw it in the theater, but it
definitely wasn't your first. Yeah.
It was definitely not my first. No.
So with that, let's go to the scene by scene breakdown. Now, I don't know if you had this. The color went out on my TV. Oh wait, no, this was intentional on that.
I know, right? Becky looks at me and says, "It's in black and white." Yeah.
Had
just
she
wait
never
a few
seen
minutes. It had been a long.
Okay.
She saw it in the theater as well, right?
I
mean, it's been a while.
So we start off at an office building in Prague, A section chief named Dryden enters his office and discovers Bond sitting in a chair chastising him about selling state secrets.
By the way, we almost always talk about how my wife's been to these places, but I have been to Prague.
You have, that's right.
I have. I got food poisoning there. Wasn't
Nice.
my greatest thing. But I actually didn't get the food poisoning until I was in Vienna after, eating the food in Prague. Anyway, Prague was beautiful.
Cool. Dryden pulls a gun on Bond, tries to shoot him, but Bond is taking the magazine out. He knew where he kept his gun.
He kept it right next to his iPod.
Yes, I saw that.
Is that what was in
That
there?
sure looked like an iPod, didn't it?
I went back and actually watched it a couple times.
Yeah. Bond reveals that he killed Dryden's contact. So we cut to the fight in the bathroom, where this is a clear homage to the bathroom fight in the great movie True Lies, a Bond ripoff movie, some would say.
I read a trivia, whether it's true or not, who knows? I'll give that disclaimer for everything. I read trivia that he actually lost 2 teeth and they had to fly his dentist in. That was one of the first things he filmed.
Daniel
was that
Craig?
fight scene. Yes,
Okay.
and Daniel Craig lost 2 teeth
Wouldn't
in
surprise me.
filming that fight. It looked very brutal, even to do,
Yeah.
as an actor.
Dryden, talking about Bond's first kill, said, "He made you feel it, did he? Well, you needn't worry, the second is." And then Bond shoots Dryden, kills him. And we get our first quip. Yes, considerably.
Yes.
So we cut back to the contact, still alive, because Bond knocks him out in the sink, but then he gets up, aims his gun at him, and in one of the most glorious moments of the Bond franchise, in my opinion, Bond picks up the gun, turns around, and shoots the guy dead. But it's the gun barrel shot. So we don't get your
Yes.
traditional Bond walking across the screen. We get it integrated into the movie. Gives
And
me
then
chills.
blood drops down from
Blood,
the top
yep.
of the screen.
It's amazing. And then we go to the opening credits. You Know My Name by Chris Cornell.
And no naked ladies in these opening
None.
credits.
But
They were kind of cool. The card thing was cool.
I loved the visuals.
And did you notice there's one tiny little weird part where as the cards are moving around, you actually see like Vesper Lynd's face on one of the queens or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty wild.
Hence this note that I have.
Oh,
quick,
did you have a note for
quick
that?
foreshadowing of Vesper as the Queen of Hearts, but then shifts to the Queen of Spades because they pan down and the heart at the bottom it's a spade instead of a
Oh,
heart at
okay.
the top. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
Good
even
eye,
see.
though.
I saw on top.
Yeah.
I saw when it went across on top.
yeah, I love this song. I think that this song's perfect for
a
a
good
Bond
song.
movie.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Chris Cornell.
Yeah. It's very minor key-ish, which is good because
Mm-hmm.
this is obviously not your upbeat, cocky kind of Bond movie, right?
Yeah.
This is a post-Born Identity Bond
Yeah.
movie.
We start off in Mbale, Uganda, where we have a warlord. He sure plays a mean pinball.
Oh my gosh. We've already discussed my favorite part of the movie.
No, we haven't. No, we're not there yet.
The pinball machine.
Oh, that's your favorite part?
No, I have
Oh,
several
we're
fa-
almost-
I'm just
we're
kidding.
almost there.
But do you know what pinball machine that is?
No.
That is the Funland pinball machine,
Okay.
released in 1968. Did you notice it's only a one-player game? There's only one score
Really?
on it, and it only goes up 4 digits. That's how much pinball machine point inflation has affected us in our lifetime. That now
now
the
you can
points
go
go up
10
to like
million or whatever.
tens or
Yeah.
hundreds of millions. Back in those days, you only needed thousands, Mike. You could measure hitting those bumpers in thousands, but now they've
Yeah.
devalued all of that.
The warlord's name is Stephen Obano, and it's played by, I actually do have the right name here, Isaac de Benkole. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
not Isaac Bankroll. That
No,
was
okay.
pretty funny. Standing in the room with Obano is Mr. White, as I said, played by Jesper Christensen. The two men chat about trusting a third man with Obano's money, and that's where Le Chiffre arrives. This is Mads Mikkelsen. He's been in countless things. I know him from Doctor Strange, Another Round.
Oh,
which,
is he Doctor Strange in
No,
Doctor
he's
Strange?
he's the main bad guy in the first Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's in Another Round. He's in The Hunt. He's
Okay.
in Star Wars Rogue One.
Wow.
Great Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And he played Hannibal on the TV show Hannibal.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff for him to be in. He's pretty creepy looking in this guise with his eye kind of, you can tell he's had some injury
Yes.
and stuff like that, but he acts very creepy.
I think we should watch another round sometime because the concept of that is great. It's a Danish movie, but he's a teacher, and this group of 4 teachers, they decide that they want to start being buzzed ever so slightly all throughout the day, and they think that that's going to make them better, whatever. It's
Sure.
fascinating. And we're going to do that experiment for our bonus episode that will be coming out sometime around now because we're going to need to.
I mean, we already drink drinks during this thing,
True.
Mike. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
we'll see
it's
how
not much of a stretch.
we'll see how we feel after the Vesper Martini today, since that's going to be
know.
our third one.
I wonder if people can tell the difference between the beginning and the end of this podcast. We should ask our 2 listeners whether they can tell when after we've had a couple of those drinks. You know, I was going to say about Doctor Strange, the only thing I remember about that movie is that when he's, the doctor
Yeah.
and in his house and he's got the fancy house and fancy clothes and all that stuff, he opens up a drawer in his closet, and in that drawer are like, I don't know, 25, 30 watches, all on little winding things that go around because they're automatic watches, right? Not quartz watches.
Wow.
And I saw that and I said, I want that and all of those watches. I couldn't tell you anything else about the movie. He does some weird magic stuff, making holes in space and stuff like that.
There's
That's
a great
about all.
back and forth between Mads Mikkelsen's character and Doctor Strange, where he's like trying to tell him his name, and he said, and Strange goes, "It's strange," and then he goes like, "Possibly," and Doctor. Okay, Mr. Doctor. It's funny. It's obviously
Like who's on first?
Yes, it's kind of a who's on first thing. So anyway, they're all discussing now Le Chiffre's banking services. Obano asks Le Chiffre, "Do you believe in God, Mr. Le Chiffre?" And he responds, "No, I believe in a reasonable rate of return."
Very nice. I just want to make sure, at this point, we don't know who any of these people work
No.
for or what they're doing, right?
No, we
I
do
just
not.
want to make sure I didn't miss something.
You did not.
Okay.
Obano does agree to use Le Chiffre's services, which it's much easier to do that than get a home loan. I mean, that was a pretty easy process. Here's my
I know,
money.
no forms to fill
Yeah.
out. Just give him a metal box of a whole bunch of cash.
Le Chiffre then calls his business partner and tells him to short Skyfleet stock.
Yeah.
And Mr. White watches Le Chiffre drive away.
And the guy says, no, you can't short the stock. Everyone knows it's going to go up.
Foreshadowing. We now go to Madagascar. This was all filmed in the Bahamas. This is what I thought your favorite scene of the movie is.
Oh, I mean, of course,
because we
it's
have a
outstanding.
fight between a snake and a mongoose in a Bond movie.
It's our second mention of a mongoose in a Bond movie. Who would have thought?
That's awesome. And honestly, I didn't even clock it at first. I'm watching it with Tracy, and she's like, "That's a snake and a mongoose." It's like, oh my God.
Exactly. Now, our listeners may or may not remember, at least the ones that we don't see all the time once a week, that one of my favorite quips was in,
I believe it's the man with the golden gun.
I think you're right. And the female agent comes to visit him, and Bond had just killed a snake in the bathroom. They had released a snake in the bathroom of his hotel to try and kill him. And he had killed it, and it's lying on the floor. The woman goes in the bathroom and comes out screaming. And Bond says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, you always have to take a mongoose when you go in there."
Nice. And I can actually correct myself right now with an error and omission. It's from Live and Let Die, because that was
they
Rosie
go to-
Carver.
Yes, that's right. And they go down to Jamaica or wherever
Yes.
they go in that thing.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
But yeah, that was hilarious.
The second mongoose. It made me wonder whether, because we've seen a cockfight, right? And now we're seeing a snake and mongoose fight, which is obviously a way to gamble. I wonder if that's a real thing.
I'm sure it is.
I don't actually want to see it, but in another
Yeah.
way, I kind of do want to see it, but not really, because it would be very sad
Yeah.
and very awful. But is that like people raise mongooses and snakes to put them in the thing and fight each other, like little Jerry Seinfeld?
We have Bond and a sidekick named Carter watching the gambling crowd. They spot the man they're looking for, who has scars all over his face.
And we don't know who he is or why they're looking.
They didn't give his name or anything, but I did find it. The scarred man's name is a bomb maker named Malacca, who gets a text that says ellipsis. Here's some really cool info about this guy. So this guy is named Sebastian Foucan. He is the founder of free running
Oh,
and an early developer of parkour. So he was cast clearly to do what's about to happen in this movie.
Oh, I mean, my first thought, what is it like a gymnast? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you could tell he
Yeah.
was definitely very well trained.
Yes.
And the guy Bond was working with was definitely flunked out of spy school.
Yeah, because Carter, he's touching his ear as he's talking to Bond, and Bond tells him to stop touching his ear.
And then he presses his ear even harder
Yeah.
while he's looking at the guy.
Yes. And the guy sees it and runs the other
Like,
direction.
I mean, I would think that's like day one of spy school.
You would.
Don't do that.
You would think. So he's trying to chase after Malacca, but Carter falls, so Bond has to pursue him. They're going through this construction site. Bond hijacks a bulldozer to chase after him.
I said it was a front loader. I'm pretty sure it was a front loader.
You're right. It is a front loader.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yes.
All our 10-year-old boy listeners
Yeah.
will be happy that we got that right.
In
See, you have a daughter, so you don't
Yeah,
know these things.
right.
When you have a boy, like, you know what every type of excavation
Yeah.
and construction piece of equipment is.
What's funny is I looked it up, but then I forgot to update my notes.
Yeah.
In an obvious homage to Donkey Kong, Bond and Malacca climb up these red girders. Fortunately, there were no barrels or flame monsters to stop them. On a personal note, I did just beat the video game Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's completely irrelevant, but yes, I did.
I'm going to guess it's easier to beat that than the original actual arcade Donkey Kong.
Well, the
Do you
problem
think
with that
anyone
one,
can beat the original?
No, it's just the original. It's just like how long can you go? So
Well, those original games weren't meant to be beaten.
weren't meant to be beaten. They were meant to
Yeah.
keep pumping quarters in.
I know.
There's like a scandal about it because apparently the guy that held the record somehow cheated to get it or something.
Oh,
There's like a
really?
whole documentary on it. I think it's called King of Kong.
Okay.
So wow,
How could
we
you
really,
cheat, I wonder?
I don't know.
That's wild. But did you notice how Bond was climbing up that girder, just like grabbing his hands on both sides of
Yeah.
the girder and using his feet? He obviously had very sticky shoes on.
Yes.
He always looks like he's wearing wingtips. Like when he's in the snow, he has wingtips on,
Yeah.
which, trust me, when I had to wear suits, I can tell you right now, not good to wear in snow and ice.
Yeah.
Very slippery with that flat leather sole on the bottom. He didn't look like he was dressed for this, but he's climbing up those girders. Those guys, man, that was dangerous. And some unlucky guy gets pushed off of there.
Yes. Bond continues pursuit. They get onto these large cranes, and he begins to catch up to Malacca. Malacca tries to shoot Bond. Fortunately, there are no bullets in his gun.
I got some problems with the crane part.
Okay.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Let me just do my joke. Who throws a gun, honestly? And then Bond catches the gun
I know.
and throws it back.
He
Who
does.
throws a gun back, honestly?
It was kind of funny. That part I was actually...
Now, so is your thing about the cranes, is this after their hand-to-hand fighting, or is this... Are you talking about the jumps?
I have
that they
several
okay.
several problems with
So
the
they
cranes.
they do hand-to-hand fight on the crane, but now let's talk about your
Okay,
problems.
first of all, if the bad guy gets on the crane, the first thing I do, instead of figuring out how can I jump onto the crane and chase him, is I say to myself, what are his possible escape routes from a crane?
Down.
Yeah. And I say to myself, should I chase him on there
Yeah.
or should I wait until he inevitably has to come down somewhere and just watch where he's going and then go there and get him? That's what I do.
Okay.
But I'm risk averse.
Yes.
My second problem is he jumps over there and the guy had climbed up and he wants to get up to the crane real fast. And so he releases the load of the crane.
Yes.
Now, the way cranes work, Mike, is that they have to have like ballast to
Okay.
balance the crane, the weight on both sides, right? Because that's one of those cranes that goes straight up in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got the long thing coming out and it's carrying the load. On the other side of it, it has to have weight over there and it has to be balanced exactly. If you release all that stuff, that crane will tip and collapse instantly. Look up.
Don't ruin my movie. Don't ruin my movie.
This is what I do, Mike.
You can ruin any of the other 24 movies.
Look up Milwaukee Brewers
Okay.
stadium building crane collapse if you
No,
like.
if you
But
remind me, I'll put a little link for that in
it's
the show
actually
notes.
very tragic, and there is a
that sucks.
statue of the people who died out
Oh,
in front
wow.
of the stadium. Anyway, I have both of those problems with the crane
Yeah.
thing. Number one, the crane would collapse. Number two, I'd wait at the bottom for the guy because he's got to come down. What's he going to do up
Yeah.
there? You can't just like go into the sky.
I get it. I get it.
Okay. Anyway,
We do get a lot of parkour time now, where Malaka, he jumps to another crane and then onto the buildings below. He starts like,
as you
jumping
will,
off the
jump to
walls.
the other crane and just
Yeah.
grab onto it, and everything's fine.
Yeah. So of course Bond does the same thing. You actually, it's funny. You arrived today by parkouring to my roof. It was
I
pretty
did.
impressive.
I
You did
know.
that climb up my chimney with your hands on the sides and everything.
Oh
It
yeah, I
was
like
pretty good.
doing that stuff.
And you came in through the chimney because it's right around Christmas.
Everyone knows I'm a big risk taker.
Yeah. So Bond realizes he's still too old for this parkour shit. So he drops down using a lift. So there's this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What are those called? The
It's like a scissor lift.
scissor lift.
And it's funny because my wife at her job at our church, we have a scissor lift in order to get up to the top of the like gymnasium big room.
Mm-hmm.
In order for her, she's a technology person and she has to work on the projector that's up there sometimes. So the minute he jumps on there, she goes, "Do you know how long it takes one of those to get to the bottom? They're so slow." And she goes, "Oh, I guess unless you smash the controls."
Right.
And it collapses.
Malaka runs out of the building, and then we see Bond running through a wall to go out of the building. That was pretty awesome.
That was funny.
The chase continues on the streets as Malaka.
What I was disappointed, though, is that the pattern he made in the drywall was not just exactly like his body shape with his
Yes.
arms out to the side.
Yeah, it should have been him like shooting his gun. That pose, the pose of him shooting the
Yes.
gun from the barrel. Bond chases him to the Nambutu embassy. This is not a real place. There's no such place as Nambutu. Bond enters the
You
embassy.
can't offend somebody
No.
with this.
Finds Malaka, drags him out of the back to the back of the building after dodging a lot of gunfire.
A lot of very poor shots
Of
with
course,
machine guns.
Of course. Bond is surrounded by soldiers. Ultimately, he releases Malaka, drops his gun, but then he picks up a gun out of his
Pants?
leg? Leg holster and shoots Malaka and kills him. And then he shoots a gas tank. Everything explodes, and Bond escapes. He has Malaka's bag, and he finds a bomb in there and a cell phone showing a number with the text that said ellipsis. We're not quite to iPhone era yet, so we still got these old Sony Ericsson like phones and stuff that
Yeah.
you basically just use it for calling and texting.
But the computer he uses in the next scene is quite a bit more advanced
Yes.
than the computers we've seen in past movies.
We do have a quick little scene on a boat in the Bahamas. A woman emerges from the water, enters a boat, and walks by a poker game in progress between Le Chiffre and two other players. The girl, his companion, is Ivana Milicevic. Her name is Valenka. She's actually got quite a role. She doesn't really speak much, but she does a lot in this one. Le Chiffre is summoned away, sees that the bomb maker was killed by a British agent, and tells his henchmen to get rid of the guests because he's got to make new plans now.
He doesn't. He said they can either leave in 5 minutes or throw them overboard.
Yes.
Nice guy.
We're now in England. M is talking with Villiers? We'll say Villiers, about
Go for
Bond's
it.
escapades in Madagascar. Villiers is played by Tobias Menzies, best known for playing Prince Philip on 2 seasons of The Crown, and as Edmure Tully in Game of Thrones.
Becky spotted him in a second.
From The Crown?
Yes.
Nice.
And, he was in something else we watched. See, she's going to be so disappointed if she ever listens
Call
to
the
this.
Midwife? I don't know. I was just thinking of it randomly.
No. Oh, my gosh. I'll think of it. There's something else we watched that he's in.
So
But
M's
yes.
pissed about Bond and pissed about being asked all these questions about what they do, and her response is, "Christ, I miss the Cold War."
Yeah.
We see Bond hacking into the cell phone at this computer. He's finding that the call went to the Bahamas, and he sees that the call was taken from a place called the Ocean Club.
I mean, he zeroes right in on
Yeah.
where that call came from.
And yet, when somebody's on the phone talking, it takes at least 30 seconds for them to trace the call.
Exactly. I know. Exactly.
M arrives at home and sees that Bond is sitting in the living room. She's like you. You have an elevator to enter your house.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Anyone who's anyone has that,
Yeah.
Mike.
M chastises Bond for killing the bomb maker and mucking up the whole operation. M says, "And how the hell did you find out where I live?" Bond responds, "Same way I found out your name. I thought M was a randomly assigned letter. I had no idea it stood for," and then M cuts him off, utter one more syllable, and I'll have you killed. And she then goes on to say, I knew it was way too early to promote you. And we get a quip here from Bond. Well, I understand double O's have a very short life expectancy, so your mistake will be short-lived.
Yeah, so here's where maybe, I don't know if you had it planned out when we were going to talk about the book, but I'm only going to mention real quickly that I wrote down, still has his expense account. Like in here, he obviously just goes off and does whatever he wants now.
Yeah.
And spends as much money as he wants to travel the world.
Yeah.
Even after M is like pissed at him. In the book, it's much more orderly. The way he does things, he goes into his office, he has a secretary, he's fearful of M, right? Because M is in charge, and he does exactly what he's told at all time, because that's what you do. But I guess this is the more modern, and he just goes off, and they apparently don't even know that he's going or where he is or what he's doing.
Well, let's talk about the book briefly. So this is the first one you and I have both read very recently. And most of the book is just the casino. The book starts at the casino, basically. So most of this stuff beforehand.
There's a tiny bit of an explanation of the fact that Lashif is this guy who lost a bunch of money that he was holding for bad people. Mm-hmm. In that case, Smersh,
but
right?
He's Smersh. He's Smersh in the book,
And he's holding money, and he's gambled it, and he lost it, and he needs to win the money back to keep himself from being killed. Like, that's basically as much backstory as you don't see the backstory, you just hear about it. Basically.
Who'd have thought 67 Casino Royale would be more faithful in that aspect than this one?
Right? I know. But yeah, you don't find out much. There's a lot of the card game. And of course, we must discuss the fact that in the book, they're playing Baccarat.
Yeah.
And in here, they're playing poker, which is obviously more modern and more American.
And more fun.
Yeah. Well, how do you know? Have you ever played Baccarat?
It doesn't matter. I love Hold'em.
Okay. Well, either way. But other than that, then it starts to converge.
It
and
does.
we get
yeah.
But most of the part we've talked about so far, and the entire airplane part, is all just for adventure
for the movie,
and fun.
To make it more of a Bond movie than a Bond book adaptation, I guess.
I know, right? Where you spend tons of time listening in Bond's head. I've just been reading Goldfinger.
Uh-huh.
They spend many chapters on that golf game and his thought about all of the shots he's about to hit and where he should hit the ball. And
I believe, we discussed that on the episode because it was crazy how much time was devoted to that.
But in this one, a lot of the book is the card game.
Yes. M offers some sage advice to this blunt instrument, and basically Bond takes that to mean he should be half monk, half hitman.
Yes.
She tells Bond to go hide for a while and tells him to never break into her house again.
That's probably sound advice.
Probably. We are now in Nassau, the Bahamas. Bond heads to the Ocean Club in
driving a
Ford Mondeo.
Yes, the world car.
Which is basically a Taurus.
So, yeah, the Mondeo was a big thing amongst people who cared about cars in my day because, yes, they were going to use it as a platform to also build American cars on. It was a European Ford mainly, but it was their world car, and so they took it into other places like this in Jamaica, and so yes, they were going to bring it here. It was a big deal. We remember we had the Merkur Scorpio the one time. That was sort of their first attempt to take a European Ford and bring it over here, and it didn't turn out that well. But this one went a bit better.
Just to correct you, it's Bahamas, not Jamaica.
Okay, Bahamas, Jamaica, same thing. Sorry.
Wow. Well, we just lost every Bahamian and Jamaican listener.
Sorry, the Bond book I was just reading.
Okay,
in
that's true.
Jamaica. Sorry.
So my comment on this car was, how much did Ford pay to put that subpar car in this movie? So you're saying it's actually not a bad car?
I don't think it's a bad car, but also obviously Ford pays for all this stuff because they still owned Aston Martin and Jaguar and all these things at this time. So, they wanted their cars in the movie, I'm sure.
I thought it could have been a cooler car, but we'll get to
I know.
We'll get to the cooler car.
It could have been a cooler car. Yes, it's a very utilitarian type of vehicle.
So Bond's at the club. He bends down to tie his shoe and is mistaken for a valet by, it looks like Auric Goldfinger's a-hole nephew, Dingus Goldfinger.
I know.
Guy was a jerk.
He was doing this on purpose, I assume? Because I didn't get that he was doing it on purpose.
No, he was tying his shoe.
Yeah.
But the shirt
guy
he wore
tosses him his keys.
looked like a valet.
Yeah.
So, of course, Bond takes it and parks the Range Rover very badly by slamming it into another car. just throws the
Actually,
key
into
away.
a fence.
Oh, into
And
a
the
fence, into another car, yeah.
Well, then the fence falls over and knocks like 20 cars. And they all their car alarms start going off. And you can imagine at this place where there are like Bentleys parked out there, people are freaking
I think it was
out
a
about their
Jaguar
cars.
that was right behind it.
Yeah, it was. But there were a lot of other very fancy looking cars in that parking lot.
So Bond decides to resign from his very brief valet job. We see a bunch of security people going out. We see Dingus Goldfinger chastising the valets over the car. Bond's in this security office
Lo
looking
and
at this on
behold, the
video.
security office is abandoned.
So maybe he did plan it.
That's what I think.
Oh,
After the second time I watched it, I said, "Oh, he figured he could get everybody to run out here into the parking lot while he goes in and watches
So he
the
wore
video."
that shirt on purpose to look like a valet guy.
I think he might
Wow.
have. He's a spy.
That's true.
But I did notice when he's in the security office, it takes him only a half a second to go to the exact right file cabinet and flip through, and in a half a second find the exact Blu-ray he needed to see what happened on the exact day that phone call was made.
I put compact disc, but I guess in 2006 it probably would have been a DVD.
Oh, I read the label, Mike.
It said Blu-ray?
It said
Blu-ray existed in 06?
I guess it did.
Wow.
I looked at it.
I was an HD DVD
We'll look it
guy.
up. Yeah. I know. I thought HD DVD should win because HD DVD was like the VHS of the war, right?
Yeah.
Blu-ray was Sony's, and they lost the videotape one with Beta.
Betamax, yeah.
This has been another history lesson.
Yeah. Bond looks through the video. He spots this smarmy looking guy getting out of a very nice looking, very familiar looking 1964 Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Bond goes to the front desk, requests a room, inquires about the owner of the Aston Martin, a man named Alex Dimitrios, who lives in a house just up the beach. On the beach, Honey Bonder emerges from the water while a woman dismounts from her horse.
I mean, this scene, like this is the third time we've seen this scene, and finally it's with a man
Yeah.
coming out of the water. We saw Honey Rider.
Yep.
We saw Halle Berry. What was her name in that movie?
Jinx.
Jinx.
Yep. So now we get Bond.
Now
doing
we
it.
get Bond with the slow motion out of the water falling down off.
I gotta say, as a man, this offended me greatly. The amount of sexualization of Daniel Craig in this movie just makes me sick. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Yes, right, because you do have a wife and she might listen to this and you might get punched in the face.
She may have cheered every time he got out of the water.
Yeah. He did
Because
bulk
that
up.
wasn't the first time in this movie.
No, I know. He did bulk up for this movie.
I'm sorry, it wasn't the last time in this movie. Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to, right? Well, he probably read the script and like Bond comes out of water and he goes, "Oh man, I better work out for this one."
Gotta cut back on the martinis.
Mm-hmm.
The woman on the horse, this is Solange Dimitrios, played by Katerina Marino. She's playing Alex Dimitrios'
I've so
wife.
rarely seen a woman riding a horse down a beach, Mike.
With a bunch of kids chasing along, having a good time. Everybody looked like they were having fun. We see Alex up on the balcony. He sees Bond looking at Solange. Cut to M, awakened by Villiers, who informs her that Bond logged in using her credentials and is researching Dimitrios, eventually coming across Le Chiffre. I just love M's like, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah, well, okay, there are a couple things good about this scene. First of all, she's in bed, right? It's a domestic scene with M,
With somebody in bed with her.
somebody in
probably
bed
her
with
husband,
her,
yeah.
who apparently is just like a staff member of the movie, right?
Oh, really?
Just somebody who was lying down there.
yeah,
One of the and she wakes up and she just pushes a button on the bedside table and a screen pops up out of the bedside table and she can immediately see what Bond's doing. Now, my thought was Bond is on purpose using this so that they can see what he's doing. I don't know if you thought of that, but my thought was
I think so.
He
I think
wanted
so.
them to know who he was looking at.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah. Because he knew they would, once
'Cause
he
we get
logged
it-
in with her account.
Yeah, we get a comment later between Bond and M that kind of also supports that theory.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll go back to the Ocean Club that evening where Bond orders a drink, and this is where we're going to take our first drink break and have a Mount Gay rum with soda water.
All right, sounds good.
We are back with our Mount Gay and soda.
All right,
simple,
let's see how
very
this
simple
goes.
drink. Our Navy
Right,
strength
rum
Mount
and
Gay.
soda.
Cheers.
All right. Tastes like rum and soda.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
We'll have these tonight when we play Texas Hold'em at our, our number one supporters' houses. We're having a Christmas party tonight with friends, and
I didn't know there was going to be poker going on.
oh,
there.
there's gonna be poker. He's got a poker table.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna all have to put in $10 million.
Oh, my gosh. I'm such a pro now. I'll easily...
Charlie's very nervous about playing poker because he has never really played it much, and he doesn't know what beats what and everything.
I mean, I know the ranking of the hands,
Okay.
but I'm not good at determining what people are likely to have.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not good at that either.
What's a good hand to have? Like, is everyone going to have a full house? I don't know, but full house seems to be pretty rare.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, there's only one deck. There's only 52 cards. So, I mean, I'm not that smart. I can't figure
Yeah,
that
but I
out
never
either.
quite know when I should be betting and not, just because I haven't played enough, right?
Yeah.
I don't have experience doing it. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Bond knows, and that's the
He
important
definitely
thing.
does. He takes a seat at the poker table with Demetrios, who is losing badly. And I even put a note here. Charlie is now an expert Hold'em player.
Yes.
Demetrios goes all in and bets his Aston Martin so Bond can call him.
Now, you've missed one very, very important part of the movie.
Solange walking in
Yes.
with her dress. Yes.
Not just any dress. Here's what I put in the notebook. I said, red dress with flat boob protrusion. Did you notice? There's a weird fold of fabric that stands straight out from in front of her boobs. It is the weirdest looking
It's
thing.
like a 50s bra or something.
I don't know. Well, it wasn't pointy like
Oh, it
that. It
wasn't
was
pointy.
flat. Like you could have
okay.
set something on it. It was very odd.
Talk about a nice rack.
Really distracted me. I know, right?
Demetrios has 3 kings, so he's sure he's going to win, but then Bond throws down his 2 aces, so he has 3 aces, and he wins. Bond wins, asks for the valet ticket, and watches Solange leave. Solange is outside waiting for her ride, so to speak, and Bond arrives to take his prize, so to speak. Offers to drive her home. When she refuses, he offers to share a drink with her at his place. After a quick drive on the roundabout, they arrive back at the Ocean Club.
Why did he have the car pulled around?
Well, he asked for the valet ticket. I guess he just wanted
Yeah.
he wanted to hop in it. I don't know. Or he was offering to take her home, so he probably would have taken her home.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. I suppose I'll allow it, but it seems kind of sketchy. But
We see
he does try to pump her for
He
information.
does. We see Demetrios go to visit Le Chiffre, who chastises him about the bomb maker. And Demetrios has another contact that can do the job. So we're almost going to get slap and tickle here with Bond and Solange, but it gets halted when she gets a call from Demetrios, who is heading to Miami.
There was a lot more sort of almost graphic love scene action in this than I really found necessary myself.
But
I was
never
starting to
actually
get nervous.
Never actually was.
I
yeah.
know, but I was starting to get very nervous.
Yeah. At this point, Bond orders some champagne, chilled Bollinger, and beluga caviar with everything for one, because he's going to leave and go to Miami.
Well, okay, did she just gets up and leaves, right? I didn't
I think she's just
what
like
was happening.
she got up to go change.
Oh.
She was going to slip into
he
something
abandons
nicer.
her.
He abandons her.
Okay.
Because he says just for one. And just like that, we're on to our next drink. We're having drink and snack time. We have Bollinger champagne, so of course we're going to pair it with some caviar. We are back with champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
For possibly the most momentous moment. I mentioned
Yes.
we're not just having drinks. We have some caviar
Yeah.
as well.
With little toasts. This is a sturgeon-based caviar. I
Isn't
don't
it
know
all based
where to
on
fi-
sturgeon,
I don't know
I think?
where to find beluga caviar.
Well, I thought
it
it all
really-
came from sturgeon.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start with the Bollinger. Cheers.
Cheers. Good fizz. Very dry, as you want it to be. That's pretty good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how sweet it was going to be.
If I had to guess, I would guess the better it is, the less likely it is to be too sweet.
Yeah. You know, it's named for the region. It
I
has to
know.
be from
It has to
Champagne,
be from there.
according to the
Everything
Rob
else
Lowe
is
and-
just sparkling wine of some sort.
That was a Wayne's World reference.
Yes.
All right, now we'll try this caviar on little toastettes.
I mean, now for me, I used to have caviar every other day back at home, but
Served
just
to you.
let's pretend that it's been a long time since I've had any.
I think I've only had it once or twice.
I think I've had it once, but it's been decades.
It's salty, which I expected.
Yes.
Not very fishy.
No. It's fine. I don't understand the attraction. It's not bad. I like
No,
it fine.
maybe the beluga is the attraction. Maybe,
But I wouldn't go out of my way to
Yeah.
spend tons of money on it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe if I had ever had cheap caviar,
yeah,
I would know why you have to, spend the money for good caviar. It's kind of like cheap champagne, right? I guess we've all had enough cheap sparkling wine in our day
Yeah.
to know that there's a difference. But caviar, I couldn't tell you. I'm going to have another spoon of it here just
yeah. We'll
so I
take.
can live the high life, and then we'll take it down to...
Yeah, we're gonna take a little
Countess
break
Tracy.
again so that the Countess Tracy can try some.
Now,
of this.
just for those of us who have not seen our recording studio, it turns out, now you'd think big-time podcasters like us would have our own dedicated recording studio, but it turns out that even big-time podcasters like us are sometimes married to other people, and those people also like to use rooms in the house for other things. Now, my idea was that we should open the champagne up here so we can capture the recording on these fancy microphones. And as we walked downstairs, Countess Tracy said, "Are you going to open that outside?"
she did not want it opened in the house.
And I thought, well, if she doesn't even want it open in the house, maybe her sewing room is not the best place to open the champagne and risk alienating her forever and having the podcast shut down.
Fortunately, we did open it outside, and it just, I caught.
But there was no
I had the
mess.
cork. It popped.
We didn't shake it up or anything
Yeah.
first, so.
Yeah, we weren't celebrating a victory because we live in Indiana, and no Indiana teams ever win anything.
Oh, you never know.
We'll see.
All right.
All right, we'll take a little break now. And we are back after a very decadent drink and snack time with our Bollinger champagne. And
The Bollinger was very good.
It was. And our caviar.
Normally when I have cheap champagne, I have one glass of it, and I'm like, I can't have any more of this.
Yeah.
It was work to get through that, but it was very
was
delicious. The caviar, I don't even know. It's good. It's very good. It might not be good enough that I would have it
Worth
all the
what
time.
was paid for it.
Yeah. I don't think I would. But if
I
I
learned-
see it somewhere, I'm definitely going to have it if it's free.
Charlie did educate me today on caviar because I always hear the term beluga caviar. So I assumed it came from a beluga. And then Charlie's like, no, that's a whale. That's
a
not
whale.
that's a mammal.
It has live babies.
It doesn't have eggs.
And if it did have eggs, have you seen the size of one,
Yes.
Mike? If it did have eggs.
So all caviar is actually sturgeon caviar.
Yes.
But
And
it
it's
was-
a
I mean,
beluga sturgeon,
I'll be
which I
honest.
didn't know existed, but
Yeah.
I knew that all caviar is sturgeon eggs. But
It did grow on me. The more
Yeah.
I ate of it, I liked it more.
it was good.
It paired very well
yeah.
with the Bollinger.
If I were a secret agent and I might die at any moment, and I was working on the company payroll,
Yeah.
I'd definitely order it wherever I went.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if I'm on expense report,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting it.
And before we move on, just one more quick thank you and shout out to Sean and Amy for buying us this Bollinger. Thank you very much.
They've cemented themselves as our greatest, possibly only fans.
But not only fans. That's completely different.
No, that is right. You can catch us there.
Our spin-off podcast / OnlyFans
Right.
that nobody would ever want to see.
You can put our OnlyFans link in the show notes. Mike.
Oh my God. We just lost every other listener we had.
Well, it's not only an adult entertainment site, Mike. Other things go on there. Nothing that anyone watches, but other things do go on.
Sure. Back to the movie.
Yeah.
We're now in Miami. This was shot in London, the Czech Republic, and Miami, the various aspects of it.
Okay.
It is presumed that Bond, because Bond is it gets in the car to leave to go to Miami. It's presumed Bond's Aston Martin didn't turn into a boat, so he probably flew out of the Bahamas into Miami.
Yes.
Bond arrives via taxi at the airport, tells the cab driver to wait.
I wrote that down.
Which we know is unacceptable because the white zone is for loading and unloading passengers only.
Exactly. I tell you, I wrote in my notes that he told the cab driver to sit there because I wanted to see if he actually goes back and gets in that cab.
Why?
Which he does.
But why did he tell him to sit there?
No.
It was so weird.
I don't know, but he ended up needing it, so...
It's funny. I don't know if you heard, very faint, but in the background, we heard there was this lady and she said, Vernon, why pretend? We both know perfectly well what it is you're talking about. You want me to have an abortion.
Exactly.
You can't have an airport scene and not do airplane references.
No.
Come on.
I mean, even when you go to the airport, it's the first thing you think of.
Of course.
When you're parking to get your bags out.
As Bond looks on, Demetrius drops off some luggage, checks out some weird human anatomy art.
Well, they're at a thing called Body World.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's real bodies.
And those are real dead bodies
Yeah.
and like slices of actual human bodies that you can look at.
He sends a text message and drops a baggage claim ticket onto a poker table.
At which some dead bodies are playing poker.
Yes. I'd prefer dogs playing poker.
I know. They're dogs and they're playing poker.
That's Simpsons, right?
It is. It's a beginning of a treehouse of horror.
Nice. Demetrius sneaks up on Bond, gets into a test of wills and strength with him, and Bond eventually does turn the knife, stabs, and kills him with one shot. He knows the pressure point.
And then there's another dead body at the show.
Yeah. Bond sees that Ellipsis was texted to a phone and that the baggage claim ticket is gone. He runs outside, dials the phone number, sees a guy.
Pretty quick thinking to dial the phone number and see who picks their phone up.
The guy answers the phone, and Bond hangs up and then follows this mysterious man into security while, cameo alert, Richard Branson is there getting screened. Did you notice that? Richard Branson walks through the metal detector and then he goes off to the side and gets patted down.
Oh, that's funny.
He's the founder of Virgin Airlines and Virgin Records and all that stuff. The mysterious man eludes Bond, ducks into a changing room to put on a uniform, and then heads into a secured area.
Now, how did Bond get in there with no boarding pass?
That's a good question. We'll never know. Bond, because this is post 9/11.
How many times have I ruined this movie?
Yeah, this is
at
post
least
9/11.
the second. Yeah, I know, right? And I'm thinking, how's he get through security? But, you know.
Maybe he had a ticket. Who knows?
Yeah.
Bond calls Villiers, reveals someone might be about to set off a bomb at the airport. Not a Bond at the airport, a bomb at the airport. And
actually, he demands to talk to M. He's being put off.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, she's busy right now. And he says, someone's about to put off a bomb. And he goes, could you hold, please? He goes, I thought you might.
Thought you might. Bond figures out that Ellipsis is the code to get into that secured area. So he pursues the bomber in there. Villiers researches the Skyfleet S-570 prototype, which is the largest airplane in the world, and it's being unveiled at the Miami airport. So these pieces are all starting to come together.
Yeah.
The bomber sets off the sprinklers, heads to the locker room to get a gun. The airport is being evacuated as Bond pursues the bomber. M tells him that the target is that Skyfleet plane. It was nice of Bond to stop to help that lady up that fell to the ground as she was running out. That was nice.
Yes.
The bomber hops onto a security vehicle, kills a maintenance worker, plants the detonator on a gas truck, and drives off, all while Bond is trying to chase him down. Bond then uses the Bluth stair car to jump onto the fuel truck.
Oh, man. You stole it from me.
You wrote it down, too?
Of course I did.
Yes.
This is the second Bluth stair car we've had in one of these movies, you remember.
What was the first one? You have to remind me.
The first one is when they're out in the desert in Afghanistan. And he uses the stair car to escape after he'd been in prison.
Okay.
And he has to escape. He uses the stair car, drives it to the fence, and jumps over the fence.
Living Daylight's one of my favorite Bond movies.
Yeah.
Arrested Development
is
just a top-tier TV show.
I know. I wrote Blue Stair Car also. I wrote climbs Blue Stair Car to top of tanker. Now, did you notice, I did think it was interesting, when he clips that bomb onto the tanker, it's pretty ingenious right? Because did you actually notice when he went through security that he had to hand the guy his car keys?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the bomb
Yeah.
was. But you only need a tiny bomb if you clip it to a
A
tanker
fuel
truck.
tank, yeah, and a jet fuel tank.
This was actually a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think the guy was ever going to make it out of there alive. I don't know
Yeah.
how on earth he expected he's going to make it out of there alive. But it was a pretty good plan.
Well, I would think that if Bond was never there, then he just takes
Everyone
the truck
is too worried about the plane
he takes
exploding
the truck
and he
drives
just
it, parks
walks
it
away.
close and blows it up. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Still.
So the bomber tries to shake Bond off as he heads for the Skyfleet plane. Bond has to jump off when the fuel truck collides with another vehicle. We see Richard Branson taken off in the background. Bond catches up to the fuel truck and hops back on, taking out a string of vehicles, which is almost like comedic because it's like, oh, first he hits the luggage cart, then he hits the bus, and
He actually, it's an articulated bus and he splits it in
Yeah.
half, which was pretty awesome.
yeah. The bomber continues to head towards the plane as Bond jumps into the cab. Now
And the security people proceed to shoot at the tanker
oh
truck.
yeah, that's exactly what you want to do is shoot at the tank.
Very smart.
Yeah. Although I think they were just shooting at the tires.
Except then they have terrible aim because fuel was spewing out of the truck from holes in the side of the truck.
Stop ruining my movie.
Come on. So he's in the cab.
Yeah, the Keystone Cops get thrown into the air by a passing plane that barely misses everybody as they're going along the tarmac here.
And the plane flips over one of the cars
Yeah.
chasing him, which was pretty cool.
Speaking of Keystone Cops, we get real Keystone Cops in the original Casino Royale.
We really do.
Bond is kicked out the door. He sees the bomb on the keyring under the fuel truck. The bomber tries to escape, but Bond catches him as they approach the Skyfleet plane, so he eventually jumps out, leaving Bond to try stopping the fuel truck while smashing into even more vehicles. Bond eventually swerves the truck and gets it to stop right in front of the plane as gas is just gushing everywhere out of it. The cops arrive and treat Bond very gently as he's handcuffed,
I mean, to be fair,
I guess.
they don't. He's the guy driving a tanker truck toward a plane.
I guess.
At that point, you
Post 9/11, yes.
handcuff first, ask questions
Yeah.
later.
Well, you punch the crap out of somebody
They
first,
did.
then
I know.
handcuff, then ask questions later.
Still, he's a guy driving a tanker
I
truck
get it.
at a plane.
The bomber looks on. He activates the bomb, which unfortunately for him, Bond had grabbed and attached to his pants.
That was pretty awesome. And Bond just smirks at him as the guy realizes it's attached to him. He hears the beeping. Because as we know from previous Bond movies, you have to make your device beep.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have silence, so you have to make your device, whatever device you have, needs to make some noise.
Yeah. And my note here, in homage to the second best James Bond franchise, Mission Impossible, hasta lasagna, don't get any on you, as the security guard explodes. We then cut to Le Chiffre on the phone with his financial planner, business partner, whatever that guy was, who knows,
Yeah.
stockbroker, telling him that the Skyfleet put expired and he just lost over $101 million. You know what a put is, right?
I do. It's
Okay,
the opposite of a call.
Yes, for our listeners not familiar with the stock market financial industry, a put is basically you betting. I mean, it is. It's a bet. You're betting that the stock price is going to go down. So Le Chiffre's plan was to blow up the Skyfleet. The stock price tanks for Skyfleet. He has all these puts where he can sell it for much higher.
And so the thing is, it's even more leveraged than like just selling short, right? If you sell short, then you sell stock you don't have in theory, but you have to, I think, have a certain amount to cover that.
Yeah.
And the put and call options, I believe, are more leveraged. So you can make much more money, but you can lose
Oh yeah.
a lot more money.
Yeah, because the put is like you have to.
You have to cover it.
Yeah, you have to cover it.
Yeah.
So Le Chiffre knows that somebody talked and spoiled his plans. So we're now go back to the Bahamas. Bond, Villiers, and M see that Solange is dead in a hammock.
Or as I said, red dress lady is dead.
M gives Bond info about Dimitrios and Le Chiffre. Le Chiffre apparently is an Albanian chess prodigy. Bond is given a tracking device in his arm at this point by some random
A
person.
veterinarian.
I thought that guy looked very familiar. I didn't know if he was on the crew or something. I couldn't find any information about him.
That guy did have a cool setup where he had that briefcase that opened two ways, like you're playing Battleship, and with the thing sticking up in the middle.
I mean,
and then that gun that he put it in his arm, just like a dog tracker.
Yeah.
And then he puts it through that cool, like,
the little ring.
elliptical ring thing, or a ring, yes, where it showed that the tracker was in his arm so that M would always know where he is.
And I think we could call this the gadget. I think there's really only one gadget because this is part of what happens later.
Yeah.
So it's not just him being tracked. It can like read his blood and do all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of a whole thing. We'll get to that a little later. M says that on September 12th, 2001, someone made a ton of money by selling airline stock short. So she's implying that Le Chiffre knew that 9/11 was going to happen.
Right.
M sends Bond to capture, not kill Le Chiffre, and going undercover in a high-stakes poker game with a $10 million buy-in. And we now go to Montenegro.
Just like we're going to have tonight.
Yeah, 10 million buy-in.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. Bond's looking very dapper on this train, drinking whiskey. Don't know what kind. But we have enough drinks. We don't need any more anyway.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So now we have Vesper arriving. And she says, I'm the money. And we get a little quip here where Bond says, every penny of it.
Yes.
Vesper Lind works for Her Majesty's Treasury. Eva Green is a French actress who I don't know from anything else other than the sequel to the movie 300.
Okay.
I mean, I know she's done a lot of stuff. She's actually really highly regarded as an actress, but there's just not much I've seen of her. Bond is given $10 million and is teased by Vesper that him losing would result in the government financing terrorism. They then chat about
hilarious joke.
Yeah, hilarious. They chat about poker and how it's about reading the people, not the best hand. I expect you to use this information tonight in our poker game. Bond then analyzes Vesper, saying that, she's an orphan and she dresses more masculine and she's really holding things in. And she returns the favor. She knows that Bond is also an orphan, and that's the first time they actually reveal that. Vesper then says...
Well, I mean...
I don't think they've ever said that Bond's an orphan before this movie.
I think that Sean Bean accused him of being an orphan.
Think so?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
He might not have said it directly, but I think he said something to the effect of that's why they recruited orphans like us, or something he does say something that leads you to believe Bond is an orphan.
Vesper has a great line here. So as charming as you are, Mr. Bond, I will be keeping my eye on our government's money and off your perfectly formed ass. Yes. To which Bond replies, you noticed.
She also accuses him of having a Rolex, and he says, no.
Omega. Yeah.
Which we would call Omega here in America, because we say things the correct way.
And then Vesper says, even accountants have imagination. How is your lamb? To which we get a quip, skewered. One sympathizes.
Yes.
That was a great line.
That was a good line.
Next day, Bond and Vesper head to the Hotel Splendid in a very nice car, which I forgot to look up what this car was.
It's a Daimler limousine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that we've seen in a couple of the other movies, actually.
Yeah, it's very
pretty
nice.
Popular.
Yeah.
Bond peruses the last-minute details on the mission, and we get a little quip here. I'm Mr. Arlington Beach, professional gambler, and you're Miss Stephanie Broadchest. Nice little nod to some
homage
of
to the previous. Yeah, and yes, exactly. That's a good one.
They check in at the hotel. Bond immediately gives his real name to blow his cover and explains to Vesper he does this because, he knows that Le Chiffre already knows who he is and he's going to play him anyway. Vesper gets onto the elevator because she's still pissed about it. She says, take the next one. There isn't enough room for me and your ego.
Yeah.
The concierge gives Bond a package, which contains a car remote, and then we get our Aston Martin DBS.
Okay, there's some gadgets in here.
Yeah, mostly the heart stuff, but still, it's cool. But yeah, so we get the DB5 and the DBS in this movie. I think that's the first time that's happened in a long time.
Which apparently the DBS was new, and it's really a DBS shell over a DB9.
Yes, yeah. It hadn't. Yeah, it had not been really. It didn't get released.
It's amazing how many of
until
these cars in these movies have been pre-released cars.
I
The
know.
BMWs, the Ford
Yep.
Mustang,
Yep.
a ton of these cars were pre-released cars.
Maybe the Thunderbird too, and Die Another Day.
It might have been. Yeah.
Bond and Vesper meet with a guy by the name of Mathis, who is French intelligence, and they chat about Le Chiffre. Mathis says that the police chief is friendly with Le Chiffre, so Mathis sets him up to be arrested by supplying his deputy with evidence that the chief was being bribed. Did you notice who the chief was?
No.
Michael G. Wilson, stepson of Cubby Broccoli, producer for many, many Bond movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We're not back to
Did you hear him say, it's amazing what Photoshop can do?
I did not hear that.
Yes, he does, because that's how he did. He created the evidence with Photoshop, apparently. And it's like, remember those innocent days of
When you just had to
photoshopping
Photoshop.
things?
Now you just have AI do it.
I know, right?
We're back at the hotel. Bond brings Vesper the dress she's to wear at the game to serve as a distraction for the other players. Then Bond sees that Vesper got him a dinner jacket, to which Vesper says, I sized you up the moment we met. Because the
'cause he
jacket
goes,
was tailored.
"But it's tailored."
Yeah. And Bond then goes to the mirror to look in. It's funny how they drop the classic Bond stuff into this one. So you get like the gun barrel thing, which was kind of unique. And now you have Bond wearing his tuxedo.
Wearing a dinner jacket.
He's clearly
playing, gambling.
He goes to the mirror, looks at it, and he's clearly checking out his own
Getting
perfectly
drinks.
formed ass.
Yes.
As Vesper mentioned.
and Aston Martin.
Yep. I love
Hot
it.
girls. It still has every single piece of a Bond movie.
And stays very faithful to the book, I think.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vesper stuff is a little different in the book,
Yes.
but it's still roughly the same thing where she's kind of trying to resist him and he's like making little jokes, but she's working along with him. And then as we get to the end, it still kind of tracks that whole thing.
We now go to the Casino Royale. Bond and Le
Which
Chiffre.
in the book is in Monte Carlo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Montenegro.
Right.
Bond and Le Chiffre meet. Le Chiffre says, is it Mr. Beach or Mr. Bond? I'm confused. And Bond says something like, well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
And
he
just walks away.
It's awesome. Bond heads to the bar, stands next to a mysterious American, while the host discusses the game and the banker explains where the money will be. Bond is the first to enter his passcode for the money, so when he wins, he has that passcode to
Put the money in his bank.
Yeah, to put it in his bank. And then the game begins. And so we get some poker. We see Bond thinks that after some rounds, Bond thinks that he knows Le Chiffre's tell. And the tell is him putting his finger by his left bad eye. Vesper walks in, kisses Bond, meets up with Mathis by the bar. She didn't walk in the way he wanted, and Bond was like, you were supposed to distract the other people or something. And she's like, was I? She's pretty awesome as a Bond girl.
Yeah, I mean, and she looked distracting.
Yeah. We're back to the game. And so we see 4 hearts on the river. And Charlie now knows what the river is.
Yes.
Le Chiffre bets $200,000 and Bond calls. And we see that Le Chiffre actually has a full house. So Bond folds and never shows his cards. That's something you got to remember tonight. You don't need to show your cards if you fold. I will ask you every time to show me your cards, but you don't have to show them to me.
Because then you know whether the person was bluffing
Yes.
or how bad they were
Right.
bluffing, I
yes,
guess.
Yes. So Bond reveals to Mathis and Vesper that he knows Le Chiffre's supposed tell. But before that, Bond requests a drink, and he invents one on the spot. And it's called
this sounds like something we're going to have to pause for.
called the Vesper Martini. The Vesper Martini consists of 3 parts gin. We're going to be using Bombay Sapphire gin. 1 part vodka. We're going to be using Grey Goose vodka. And we're going to be using a brand of Lillet, which is kind of some sort of like wine, kind of fortified wine kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a lemon peel for garnish. We are definitely going to make sure that is shaken and very cold. And we're going to pause right there to have our third companion beverage.
All right.
We are back with our Vesper martini.
This is exciting stuff.
There's just a little bit of alcohol in this one.
Yeah.
I do love, like, they're going around the table, or he orders it, and then everybody else.
Everyone else
one.
is like, I'll take that
and
too.
then Lighter is like, which we haven't revealed as Lighter yet, but he's like, I'll take one of those too, but keep the fruit.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's very dry.
Tastes like a lot of alcohol in there.
It really does.
I mean, it's like a dry martini.
Yeah.
A very dry martini. I will point out, this drink is exactly from the book.
It is. Yeah. It's good. I like
Yeah.
it.
No,
I mean,
it's good because I like martinis, right? I'm not saying that's bad, but
what's funny is one of the most interesting journeys for me doing this podcast is actually drinking cocktails, because I never drank cocktails before this.
wow. I mean, my butler used to serve me a cocktail at 5 p.m. every day, Mike.
After school.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how it was. No, usually I don't drink cocktails either because it takes work and it's a lot easier to put scotch in a glass.
Yes, most certainly.
Or open a beer and pour it in a glass. Or even just drink it out of the bottle.
Yeah. As we said, Bond reveals to Mathis and Vesper what Le Chiffre's supposed tell is of him tapping his side of his eye. Unlike Pam Bouvier, at this point, Vesper likes Bond's martini. She takes a sip of it and smiles at it. We now have been playing for 4 hours, so the game is halted for a break for an hour. By the way, for all of our loyal listeners, including our 2 patrons that provide us the Bollinger, my James Bond playing cards just arrived, so we will be playing poker tonight with James Bond playing cards.
Man, what timing.
$10 million buy-in, James Bond poker cards. It's going to be a night.
I better ask Becky if I'm authorized for the $5 million rebuy.
Nice. Le Chiffre's henchman whispers in his ear after this break was called for 4 hours, and he darts off to see Valenka. We hadn't mentioned this yet, but he had an inhaler.
Yeah.
Because he's got asthma or something. He forgot
Now,
his
that part's
inhaler.
from the book. The
Yeah.
bleeding eye. Did we even mention the bleeding eye? I don't
No.
think we did.
Have we gotten to the part yet where...
Was eye bleeds originally?
We haven't gotten to it.
No,
Well,
it
yes,
bleeds
sorry,
at
you're
the
right.
first poker game.
Yes.
When he's on the boat,
Yes. it
it's
does bleed.
revealed, and he says, "Oh, that's not about stress.
It's a
you know."
tear duct injury or
Yeah,
something.
it's a tear duct injury, and he has this blood that comes out of his tear duct.
Yeah. We see that he left his inhaler. Bond grabs it, and he puts a bug tracker
Yeah.
into Le Chiffre's inhaler. Mathis leaves to report on the progress of everything. Bond and Vesper head back to the room as Le Chiffre arrives at his room to be accosted by Obano, pissed about all his money being gone.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. We still don't know what organization he works for, right? I mean, I guess we
Obano
just
or
think he's
Le
a
Chiffre?
rebel.
Le Chiffre?
Obano.
Yeah,
Or Le Chiffre.
oh.
Le Chiffre is his own guy, as far as we
Well,
know, right?
we'll eventually know who they all work for.
Yeah,
But I think Obano is just he's just one
He's
of
just
those
a
warlord
warlord.
kind of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bond gets a package from reception, which turns out to be a gun.
No, he gets a parcel.
Oh, I'm sorry, a parcel. Le Chiffre continues to be roughed up while Bond tracks his room. Obano threatens to take Valenka's hand because he can't take Le Chiffre's hand because he's playing cards.
Right.
But he was bluffing, and he leaves the room. I wonder how Valenka felt
Well-
at that moment when Le Chiffre just didn't even defend her.
Well,
or
that's the
anything.
thing, right? He pretends to cut the arm off, and he stops, and he looks at her, and he goes, and he looks down at Le Chiffre and says, "Look, he didn't even blink." He goes, "I think you need a new boyfriend."
Mm-hmm. After throwing Obano's assistant over the stairwell, because they see Bond, they catch Bond, and he's out there making out, quote unquote, with Vesper.
He didn't hide very well.
No, he
Yes,
didn't
I
hide
know.
very well. They take a shot at him. But then Bond starts to fight Obano's henchman, and he throws him over the stairwell, kills him. And then Bond and Obano tussle as Vesper tries to get away. Eventually, they get to the bottom of the stairwell. Vesper watches as Bond strangles Obano to death. And she does help, too, because Obano gets his gun, and she knocks it out of his hand.
She knocks it out of his hand, yeah.
Bond cleans up, Bond tells Vesper to go tell Mathis there's 2 dead bodies to take care of. And then he cleans up and takes a very generous pour of whiskey. And we're going to stop for yet another drink. And we're going to
Oh
have,
my gosh.
we're going to have 4 to 6 ounces of whiskey paired alongside with our Vesper martinis. I kid.
No. We've had enough whiskey on
Yep.
this show.
Back at the game, Bond and Le Chiffre trade barbs. And I don't know if you wrote this down because I forgot to, but Le Chiffre says, he changed shirts. He must have been perspiring. And Bond kind of like shrugs it off and basically says like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal unless I start weeping blood out of my eye.
Yes.
Bond returns to the room later.
Yeah, we don't really see much poker after that. We assume stuff happens.
Yes. Because then Bond returns to the room, finds Vesper distraught in the shower, fully dressed, and he consoles her by sucking invisible blood off her fingers.
Yeah, that was a little weird, although apparently from what I read, she was supposed to be in her underwear.
Yeah, I did remember that.
Did you read that? Yeah, and Daniel Craig's like, nah, she wouldn't bother to take her dress off.
I
She
mean,
would just go in the
obviously,
shower.
she's never seen somebody get killed like that. She's very
Right.
traumatized. It made
Right.
perfect sense in that
Oh.
moment.
It did.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially if you assume that she probably had blood spattered on her somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So you'd try to wash it off.
We go to the next morning. Bond sees that Vesper's still asleep in bed, so he goes to chat with Mathis. Police find, and I didn't clock this at first, but they find Obano and his henchmen.
Okay, who
the
are
bo-
they talking to?
That's one of Le Chiffre's henchmen. It took me a while to figure that out.
I honestly
he's
didn't
one
know
of-
who it was.
yes.
Who it was. So I understood the premise that they set somebody up,
yes.
but I didn't really know who the guy was.
Yeah, because the first time I watched it, I was like, they're just going to set up this random guy for
Right.
this. But no,
Right.
he is one of Le Chiffre's henchmen. He's not the
guess
main
we
one.
were supposed to know that,
Yeah.
but they could have explained it a little better. But
Yes.
I mean, it was still kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, as death will be.
Right. We go back to the game. The field is dwindling. There's definitely not 10 full players right now. Mathis sees Le Chiffre's supposed tell and informs Vesper that Bond's got him. Le Chiffre raises to $1 million. The American folds.
Wait. How much does he raise?
$1 million.
Thank you.
Bond raises to $2 million.
I know. Keep doing it.
And Le Chiffre decides to go all in, and Bond calls.
Just so you know, I did recently listen to the book of Dr. No. Totally plays up how his thing cost $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very funny, but he really plays up how his underwater lair cost $1 million.
I mean, Dr. No, that was like mid-50s.
I know.
Yeah, that's
no,
good
I
money.
get it. All the books are old, right? That's why these things are funny like that. But yes.
So Bond, I mean, if I were Bond, I'd be feeling as good about it too. He has a full house of kings and aces.
I mean, that's pretty darn
That's like
good,
fourth
regardless
highest
of whether
hand.
you think the guy is bluffing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he loses to Le Chiffre, who has 2 jacks in the hand, so he has 4 jacks and wins. And Bond's done. The game breaks for an hour. Vesper and Bond chat about the other 5 million buy-in, and Vesper declines, so Bond gets pissed. He's convinced he can beat him.
And Bond orders a drink, right?
Yep, Bond is back at the bar, and he's asked whether he'd like his vodka martini shaken or stirred. And we get a quip. Do I look like I give a damn?
That was actually kind of funny.
That was awesome.
Because, of course, we all think we know what's coming.
Yeah. Bond grabs a knife and heads for Le Chiffre because Le Chiffre is one at this point, so he needs to take him out.
Yeah, you might as well just kill him.
But then he gets stopped by this mysterious American, who we've already said, but this is CIA agent Felix Leiter, a brother from Langley.
Yeah.
Great line. This is Jeffrey Wright, one of my favorite actors. He's been in several Wes Anderson movies, and he's also in a movie called American Fiction that, frankly, I think should have been more highly regarded than it was. Have you seen American Fiction? It's pretty recent.
What do you think?
Probably not. You need to watch it, though. It's
But I've
really
seen him
good.
in Westworld. He's good in Westworld.
He is
Have you
good in
seen
Westworld, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. At least the first season of Westworld.
Yes, that's the only
Then
one
I
I've
lose track of what on earth is happening. But
Sounds about
he's
right.
very good.
It's like, we know what the first act of the 67 Casino Royale made. That made sense, and then we just lose track after that.
Actually, I didn't even understand the first part.
We both stopped taking notes pretty quickly on that one.
I can't wait till we discuss that. It'll be shorter than this.
Yes. So Leiter offers Bond the $5 million stake if the CIA is given basically is able to arrest Le Chiffre or to bring Le Chiffre
Right.
in.
They get him and his intelligence
Yeah.
as long as Bond beats him at poker.
Nice little line here from Leiter where because Bond asks like, "What about the money?" And he's like, "Does it look like we need the money?"
Exactly.
Typical
That was
American
pretty
arrogance.
good. I know.
Bond returns to the table, asked to up the blind. The bartender,
Whatever that means.
yeah, well, the blind. That's the person next to the dealer.
It's
has
like the ante.
Yeah, you got the small blind and the big blind.
I don't even know what that means. I guess because you don't know what the cards are coming and you have to put money in,
It's
and so
basically
you're blind.
it's to make sure the game is moving. Because if you don't have that, then there's no stakes and everybody could just fold when they have a crappy hand.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But it called the blind, I guess, because you're betting before you even know what any of the cards are.
Yes, you got the small blind.
But
and the
in
big
normal poker, you all just ante the same amount. I don't get the reason why you don't
Yes,
just
but-
all ante the same
But that's
amount.
like poker that you've just played with friends. In real like casino poker, you got the small and the big blind because, like I said,
You say so.
otherwise you can't progress the game necessarily as quickly.
We should play Baccarat.
No, hard pass. So we have Bond returns to the game, asked to up the blind. The bartender brings Bond a martini and sits it next to his impressively growing stack of chips. Not bad. I mean, he lost, and then he's already
I'm so glad you said stack of chips.
getting his money back. But he takes a drink, and these are not drugged. Just so you know, our Vesper martinis that we're enjoying right now, they are not drugged.
Wait, what did you say? Actually, when we were discussing this early, I said to Mike, I poisoned yours as well.
It's a Tenacious D reference, kids. Look it up. So he realizes his drink has been drugged. He leaves the table, heads for the bathroom with some
Now, did you
salt.
see who drugged it?
It was Valenka.
Yeah.
It was Le Chiffre's girlfriend,
Yeah.
which not bad. I mean, that she was still standing beside him after
She's about to get her arm chopped off.
Yeah. So he drinks salt water. I guess this was in hope to throw up the poison.
You know the interesting thing? So I always wondered because there was a time I thought one of our dogs ate something bad. And I looked it up and immediately read, you feed like a spoonful of salt to the dog and they will vomit. And I always thought, well, you'd think that would work on a person too, but I'd never read about it.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Didn't really work though.
No. Bond heads for the DBS. And this is our gadget. This is our portable medical kit because we got this tracker.
Of all gadgets to
Yeah.
have in the car.
Very convenient.
Very convenient.
I mean, it's got a defibrillator. It's got a thing where they send it to MI6 so that they can see what's in his blood. So we go back to MI6. They're giving Bond instructions on what to do. He injects this blue
Right,
EpiPen.
they're trying to determine, they see his heart rate. They're
Yeah.
trying to determine what he's been poisoned with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is told that he needs to shock his heart, and he tries to push the button.
But he has to do it at the exact right time. It's very suspenseful.
Yeah, but the wire falls out.
Yeah.
So he's
Well, you don't know that. He's just pushing the button. It doesn't work.
He pushes it and it doesn't work, and he passes out. Well, he holds it up. He holds up the wire.
Well,
and
he
he's trying
sees
to
it
he's trying to
after
plug
he's
it back
pushing
in.
the
Yeah,
button.
Yeah.
After he's trying to push the button, he sees it, but he passes out
Yeah.
before he. Well, technically, his heart stops. I guess pass out, heart
Yeah.
stop, same thing.
Same thing. Vesper arrives, reattaches the wire, shocks Bond awake, and everyone at MI6 is relieved. They tell him to go to a hospital, and he says he's going to after he wins the poker game.
Right.
So Bond returns to
Now,
the table.
here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Difference between the book and the movie. So interestingly, in the book, obviously, there weren't probably no defibrillators
Yeah.
in the 50s when he wrote this, right? In
Yeah.
the book, a guy comes up and puts a gun to his back. Like there are people crowded around the table.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
And
It's
he
like
feels,
a cane gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he feels the gun in his back.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knows that someone's about to kill him. And he leans his chair back real fast and
Yes.
pushes him away, right? And he doesn't get shot.
Yes. Leiter is going all in at this point, and then he loses. And then Bond comes and sits back down, and he looks at Le Chiffre, and we get a little quip here. Oh, I'm sorry. That last hand nearly killed me.
So I was going to ask, when you're in a big game like that, are you allowed to just be dealt out of a hand
I
and
guess
walk
so.
away? That was my first thought is,
I was
aren't
thinking
you
about.
aren't you giving up if you do that?
I mean, as
I
long
guess
as
you
you
were
put
allowed
your,
to. Must have
as
been
long
in
as
the
you put your
rules.
blinds in, I guess you can. Yeah.
He did put his blind in, so I guess he basically just folded that hand.
Yeah.
But I thought he'd be kicked out of the game. So you guys could tell me any rule you want tonight, and I will have no idea if it's the real rule or not.
The big blind is now up to 1 million for the final phase of the game. So now we have 4 people left, and they're playing their cards, and then the other 2 players decide to go all in. One of them does 6 million, the other does 5 million. Le Chiffre raises to 12 million. Bond is just staring at him, and then he decides that he's going to go all in. And Le Chiffre has, so the other guys have good hands, but not good enough. You know, the one that put in 6 million had a good hand, and then the one that put in 5 million had a better hand, and then Le Chiffre had the best of those 3 guys with a full house, aces full of sixes. And the cards on the table, it looks like, yeah, Le Chiffre's got a good one. Turns out Bond wins with a straight flush. He has 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of spades. So that wins. That beats the full houses.
So straight flush, that's good.
Straight flush is very good. There's only one
Royal
hand better.
flush is
Royal
the only
flush
one better,
is the
right?
best hand, yes. Le Chiffre darts away as Bond tells later that Le Chiffre is all his. We see Bond and Vesper having dinner. Vesper says the U.S.
Well, hang on. Before we leave that, did you notice the tip he gives to the dealer?
Mm-hmm.
500 grand.
Yeah, it was very generous.
It was. Now, apparently, that was a real poker dealer who played that part. Like, they brought him in as like almost a technical consultant, and then he ended up basically just playing the part. He was a real dealer at a casino that they flew in.
You know, I looked him up, and I didn't find a lot of information on him. I didn't know if he was like a stage actor or something, but that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, he's in actual poker.
That's cool.
And it makes sense. He'd know exactly how to do a high-stakes game of poker, right? He'd know exactly how it works.
I think he might have been Czech. I think that
that's
part
right.
I did read, yeah.
I think that's right. But yeah, I think they flew him in from probably Monte Carlo, where there are actual high-stakes poker games that would be that, stressful.
Yeah. So Vesper tells Bond that the U.S. is in contact with Le Chiffre and will extract him tomorrow. And this is where Bond actually names the martini
drink,
the Vesper.
yes.
Yeah. Vesper gets a text, says that Mathis needs her.
Well,
Bond is very confused
do
about this.
you remember how he tells her why it's called a Vesper?
Go for it. I vaguely remember it, but I'm sure you wrote it down.
She said, why? Because of the bitter aftertaste? And he says, no, because once you have one, you never want to drink anything else. Or
Nice.
no, you never want to taste anything else.
Nice.
Yes.
Le Chiffre is going to be extracted tomorrow. Vesper gets a text, says that Mathis needs her. Bond is confused and runs out of the hotel. So we see 2 henchmen abduct Vesper, and Bond pursues in his DBS. He's speeding down the road, and he sees all of a sudden around a curve Vesper tied up in the middle of the road. So he swerves to avoid her, and he flips the car.
Now, that's not what happened in the book. Do you remember what happens in the book?
No.
They put like nails or something.
Oh, that's
down
right.
on
Yeah,
the road.
spikes. Yeah,
spikes.
you're right. Yep.
And he gets the flat tire because he's going so fast and flips it over. I read that this was like some kind of world record for the number of times flipping a car.
I have some notes about that. Yeah, because they couldn't. It's so bottom heavy.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't actually flip it.
Right.
So they had to do like They first tried
Some
up to like
hydraulic
a
thing, probably, or
first they tried like a 2-foot ramp
Okay.
to try to get it to flip.
Mm-hmm.
It still wouldn't flip. And then yes, they did like air cannon to push it, and then it flipped, and it flipped 7 times, and apparently set up Guinness World Record.
And like I said, it was a DB9, not a DBS, but apparently they destroyed several of them making this scene.
Yeah.
Which I can imagine. But it was a pretty impressive flipping of a car.
Yeah. The non-existent Q is not going to be happy about another destroyed car.
I know. Right? I am kind of sad not to have Q.
Yeah. The henchmen extract Bonds because he's passed out at this point. They take out his tracking device, and Le Chiffre reveals that he has been working with Mathis this whole time. We now go to an old warehouse. Vesper is taken to a separate room. Bond is stripped completely naked and tied to a chair with the seat cut out.
And just so you know, listeners, this is exactly
Yeah.
what is in the book.
The only thing that was different was the actual
The device.
It was close, but it wasn't the exact
It was
same
a
thing.
carpet
Yeah.
rake or something, or a
Yeah.
carpet.
Le Chiffre in the movie uses something called a torture, or uses a torture rope, which is called a seaman's knot.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you could use just about anything.
Yeah. No, come on. I'm sure this is perfectly harmless. Holy shit, what is happening right now? Just he takes it and swings it, hits him right in the balls. So we have notorious ballbuster Le Chiffre going at Bond a few times as Bond screams in agony. Le Chiffre demands the money. Bond holds strong. We get a quip here. I've got a little itch down there. Would you mind?
Now, the interesting thing I thought also was, just like in the book, he gives him a little speech about why this is effective torture.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wait too long to tell the secret, you won't be a man anymore. Yeah. And in the book, he goes into great detail about why would you even want to live past it, right? So it won't kill you, but you won't want to live after you get done with this torture if you don't tell me. I was curious. I mean, it was just like the book. And honestly, as many movies as I've watched, like The Deer Hunter or other things with torture in them, you're like, you'd think in real life that you might go right to the testicles thing, because I'm telling you, if there's some way they're going to get me to tell, tearing off my fingernails, sure, it would hurt, but my fingernails will grow back.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you, in my memory, this was like a 45-minute scene.
Yeah.
Just because of how large it looms in my memory of this movie.
Just so you know, I have literally just decided that another song that I'm going to put on our show notes is going to be Ball Breaker by AC/DC.
Nice. But yes, his line about the itch down there is classic.
God, that is so good.
So good.
So Le Chiffre takes another shot, and then Bond screams, and then he says, "No, no, no, to the right."
Oh my gosh.
So Bond's losing his mind, and then he gets a little quip. "Now the whole world's going to know you've done scratched my balls."
I know. By the way, just so you know, if I were in that situation, I'd pretend to pass out after the first one to try to see, instead of encouraging him and baiting him to do it again. This is why
That's why you're not a secret agent.
Why I'm not a spy.
I would have passed out before he did anything. I'm like, why am I naked in this chair and he has this rope that has this big bulb on the end?
Can't be good.
I'm just going to go ahead and pass out. Or I'd probably just give away everything.
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
My dad was a special agent in the FBI.
Yeah.
I wonder if they taught him these advanced techniques of dealing with torture.
I don't know. Bond hears that Vesper's being assaulted in another room, so we get a glimpse. It's like, oh, is he going to crack because of Vesper?
Right. He does a good job of acting, right? His facial expressions are very good during this.
Le Chiffre promises to let her live if Bond talks, but then Bond just smiles and still refuses to give any information. Le Chiffre kicks over Bond's chair, decides to castrate Bond, but then we hear gunshots from where Vesper's being held. And then Mr. White walks into the room with a gun and just shoots Le Chiffre right in the head.
Yeah.
Le Chiffre's dead.
Le Chiffre says, "I'll get you the money." And he said,
Yeah.
"We value trust more than money."
Now we go to a seaside villa in Italy. Bond wakes briefly. He sees the doctors, he sees the nurses, and then he sees Vesper. And then Mathis comes up behind her.
And he's in a very, very weird, like, electric wheelchair apparatus.
And he's very concerned about Mathis because he's still convinced that Mathis is bad.
Well, yeah, because Le Chiffre
told him. Said it, yeah.
Yeah.
Later in the courtyard, Bond is chatting with Mathis, who tells him he needs to drink some sort of medicine. Bond pours the drink out as Mathis is tasered and taken away. Vesper then wakes Bond later. They flirt. The banker, Air Mendel, arrives with Bond's winnings.
That guy's been in other stuff, hasn't he?
The banker?
Yeah.
I have to look it up. I don't remember.
He's kind of a goofy guy.
Yeah. But Bond, yeah, Vesper puts in the account number. Bond reveals the password to be Vesper.
Ah.
And then Vesper a little later says, "You know, James, I just want you to know that if all that was left of your smile and your little finger, you'd still be more of a man than anyone I've ever met." And we get a quip. "That's because you know what I can do with my little finger."
Wow. But she doesn't at this point. She ends up finding out.
Yeah. Yeah, because we get slap and tickle number 1.
Well, she did. She does cry before she says it. Like
She does. She's very emotional.
And eventually we'll know why she was
Yes.
probably crying at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we get Vesper. We get a slap and tickle with Vesper. Eventually on the hospital bed or on the floor by the bed. Who
I mean,
freaking
he's
knows?
healed like almost instantly.
Yeah.
You don't know how much time passes. Now, I will say this is an area where the book differs from the movie in that they spend a great deal of time in the book, more time on his recovery in this like kind of seaside hotel
Yes.
and the interactions between him and her and him trying to figure out whether she actually loves him or
Yes.
not. And there's a lot of the actual romance
Yes.
story in the book, which is kind of fascinating, right? It's
Right.
not the we jump into bed together. It
Yeah.
is a lot of back and forth dialogue and him thinking about all this stuff.
I mean, you can obviously, it's like the Bond books and the Bond movies are so totally different because the Bond movies, they just went in that different direction with him being a more of a womanizer and
Yeah.
more, you know.
well, you
but-
also it's a movie. You have to show things.
You do,
can't
right.
you can't hear what's in someone's head.
Yeah, not to say anything against the books because
No,
I really
the
liked a
books are-
lot of the books.
I feel like
They're two different. They're just two different things.
honestly, I've come to the conclusion Ian Fleming was a better writer than I thought he would be
Yeah.
from just having seen the movies.
Right.
Right? Because the movies are action movies and they're great.
With the exception of The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yes.
You haven't read that one yet, right?
No. But the books are well done.
They are. I mean, they
And-
were popular.
Yeah. And you
Obviously.
spend a lot more. I was just talking to my mother the other day, and she talked about how her father loved those books. Now, her father was in World War II, as Ian Fleming was, right? Now, he was an American, so he wasn't on the English side.
Right.
But still, he thought the books were great, and he loved them. So it is interesting. But yes, they spend a lot more time on the love story and the romance factor
Yeah.
and Bond kind of falling for Vesper in the book.
Yeah. We're now on a beach, and Honey Bonder emerges from the water again, lies
Yeah.
next to Vesper on the beach, talks about how Mathis betrayed him, and Bond reveals that he wants to just run away with Vesper and live life.
Yeah.
Now we go to Venice.
They have a sailboat.
Yeah, they have a sailboat. Vesper steers the boat while Bond sends in his resignation to M. As they're starting to dock, a mysterious stranger who appears to be blind in one eye is walking along the water. We get some more slap and tickle in the hotel in Venice. Vesper tells Bond she has to go to the bank.
And in order to get dressed, did you notice what a chore it is for her to get dressed? She gets out of bed naked, takes a dress, pulls it on over her naked body, and just attaches it at the top. That's how hard it is for her to get dressed.
Yeah. So Bond's hanging out at the hotel. He sees a message on it looks like a PDA, and gets a call
Yes.
from M about the winnings because they haven't been returned yet.
Here's one. I don't know how many times I've ruined the movie. How long did it take them to figure out that they didn't get the money? Now, just so you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's been a while now.
It's been a while, and I feel like Bond would have said, by the way, guys, I just deposited the money in the bank today. It was $100 million. Do you guys see it in the account?
Here's the question. Are they really going to make Bond give up all of the money? The only money they ponied up was $10 million because the CIA
Right.
did $5 million.
Right. But he works for the government, right? I mean,
guess.
it's kind of like if you work for a company and you have a great idea and it gets patented,
Yeah,
they get the money because they were paying you to make that thing.
yeah.
So they were paying him to play poker. They basically, they took the risk, not him,
Yeah.
right? He took zero risk. Now, if you remember, I think in the book, he takes the bank account number and hides it like in the door latch. right? He
Yes.
hides it in the door latch
Yeah.
so that no one can get it.
Well,
And the
you
whole
didn't
time
have
he's
fancy
recovering,
computers
I know
50
there were
years
no
prior.
computers that, right? So he hides it in the door latch, and they go and like tear the room
Yeah.
apart trying to find where he hid
Yeah.
the secret code.
So Bond calls Mendel, the banker, who tells him the funds are being withdrawn at that very moment,
Yes.
right there in Venice.
Which a banker would not tell him.
Yeah.
But
He sees
Swiss
that
banker,
he sees that Vesper's cell phone lists a meeting in 30 minutes. Bond runs to the local bank
good
branch.
thing she didn't take her cell phone with her,
Yeah.
because no one takes their cell phone with them.
Right. Well, maybe not back then.
Sure.
They weren't basically an extension of your body at that point.
Okay. You say so?
Running to the local bank branch, seeing Vesper's not there, Bond searches the streets of Venice until he spots Vesper running down an alley with a briefcase.
I mean, I will say, at first I'm like, there are like thousands of people out in that square
Yeah.
where he's looking. But she is wearing a bright red dress
Yes.
with nothing on under it.
I'm going to go ahead and say this part here. I think I had it in trivialities, but there's somebody that did some of the photography for this movie. His name's Nicholas Roeg, Roeg. He did a movie which I own called Don't Look Now, starring Donald Sutherland, that has a scene in Venice with a woman running in a red dress.
Wow.
So that was probably an homage to that movie. Because
Maybe.
that was in like 1971, that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bond takes out a henchman. We see Vesper meeting with the mysterious figure who we will now call the One-Eyed Monster. He sees Bond,
Yes.
threatens to kill Vesper as numerous henchmen fire from above. The One-Eyed Monster...
Do you remember the quip?
Go ahead.
So the guy takes Vesper hostage, right? And points a gun at her head. And he says, I'll kill her. And Bond says, allow me.
Allow me. That's right.
Because he's not too happy with her at this
No,
point.
he's
However, people with machine guns start firing at him, fortunately, very inaccurately.
Yes. The One-Eyed Monster takes Vesper into a building. Bond shoots one of the flotation devices, keeping the building up as he's shot at from all around.
I hope you have information about these flotation devices in this building.
I think it was more of a thing that was made for the movie. I don't think that's really a thing that they do in Venice to keep buildings up.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Or else they'd be collapsing all the time if one of those just accident.
Right.
I mean, it'd be very easy to poke a hole in one of
Yeah,
those
it was a
things.
device created for the movie.
Now, did they film this in Venice? Do you know?
I mean, so a lot of the scenes they did, but the sinking building was filmed at like Pinewood.
Right. I knew the inside of it was. But I'm
Well,
curious
no, the
about
outside.
the outside.
The outside of the building's sinking.
Yeah.
It's basically like two buildings, and there's a green screen, which you can't see.
Okay.
The CGI is really good in this one.
they do
Unlike Die Another Day.
Oh my God. It's amazing
Yeah.
the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how many years are between these two movies?
3
It's
or 4 years. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. It really
because in
is.
this movie, when you see the outside of the building collapsing, I mean, the inside of the building you can totally imagine doing in a movie studio,
Yes.
right? That thing,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
easily.
But the outside of the building collapsing and bricks falling off, and in between two other buildings, kind of it looks very real.
There was 2 buildings. There was the one sinking and then the one next to it. That's the only ones. And then they had a green screen for everything else. So they were talking about how all the actors had to like
Wild.
pretend that they were seeing this building collapse.
Because the other thing is, it looks like real sunlight out there and everything,
Yes,
right? I mean,
that
it
was another aspect of
really
it, yeah.
looks like that building. That they did a fantastic job
Yep.
making that look real.
So the building is starting to shift, obviously. Bond takes out one of the henchmen as the One-Eyed Monster loses the briefcase of money down into the water, because at this point the building's sinking, so there's like jets of water spraying up and
Yeah,
stuff.
let me take note right now. It falls in the water, and there's an entire building falling on top of where this money is.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
We see that Vesper's trapped in an old lift as the building continues to crumble and sink.
Or as we say, elevator.
Elevator. Bond takes out another henchman, then does kill the One-Eyed Monster with a nail gun.
That was pretty hardcore.
That's good.
I liked it.
Bond tries to rescue Vesper.
Well, then did you notice Bond just nonchalantly takes a giant nail out of his back? He just reaches
Yes, he
back and
does.
pulls a giant nail out of his
That's
shoulder. I mean,
That's good.
That's
That's Bond.
tough. Yeah, that's tough.
Bond-
I'd be crying curled up on the
Yeah.
floor when a nail shoots that far into my shoulder.
Yeah. Bond tries to rescue Vesper, but she's locked the lift and it's sinking into the water. He dives down to get her, but can't get the door open before she drowns, though he does try to resuscitate her. And we see Mr. White.
They both
on.
hold their breath an inordinately long amount of time underwater.
But not really. I mean, it's not really as long as you think. It's just the scene's so fast. I think it was only like a minute or two, which is still a long time, but it's not feasible.
When summer comes, Mike,
we're going to go underwater and see how long we can hold.
We're going to go underwater. But before you get underwater, you have to fight for your life so that your heart rate is as high as it has ever been in your entire life. And then you need to go underwater, and I want you to stay under there.
Fine.
While you are trying to break into a lift with me locked inside, who will die. Now, maybe we have to make it Tracy.
I was going to say, if it's
it'll have to be Tracy. Yeah, it'll have to be Tracy locked in the lift, and we'll see how long your breath lasts under there.
We'll do all this. Even though we'll be done with all the Bond movies by then. Mr. White's looking on, walks away with the briefcase he conveniently found.
Can we stop right here and discuss?
Okay.
This briefcase fell into the water that a building was falling on top of. Mr. White has the briefcase with not one drop of water on him anywhere. Where did he get this briefcase?
I mean, obviously there was a lot of air inside of the briefcase, so it just floated to the top.
Yeah, because when bricks fall on top of a thing...
Stop ruining my movie.
I will tell you. Honestly, I was really kind of irritated at the fact that suddenly he's standing there with this briefcase because they made such a point of showing it fall into the water under a collapsing building. And I thought, well, surely the briefcase has to be lost.
Yeah.
Because I actually forgot the end of the movie. The very, very end from this point. I remembered pretty much everything, but I kind of forgot. Once the building collapsed, I really didn't have much memory of what happened. But I was like, how the hell did he get that briefcase? Yeah. Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear on this podcast.
I've sworn like 5 times.
Okay.
So let's talk about Vesper at this point. So obviously in the movie, she lets herself die. Would we call it suicide? Sure. I mean, because she locks the door and goes to the back. I mean, she killed herself because of the guilt.
Yeah.
In the book, she just killed herself.
She takes cyanide or something, right?
She just kills herself and leaves a note
but
for
she
James.
does leave a note telling him exactly. Yeah. In this one, M has to explain to Bond, like they had to infer why she killed herself.
Yeah.
But in the
book, she explains everything as to why.
And in the book, see, this is the thing that is a little satisfying about the book is that you when she writes the note, you understand why she's had this pain inside her trying to decide whether, because she does love James.
Yep.
But as we know, her boyfriend / fiance / whatever had been kidnapped by these people and they were going to kill him if she didn't go along.
And in the book, it was basically like Smersh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so in the book, it's a little more satisfying in the sense that she kills herself. She writes the note that explains exactly why she did love him, but she also loved this boyfriend, but he had been kidnapped and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, interestingly, we forgot to mention in this that Bond does make a comment about the necklace she's wearing.
Yes.
Several times in the movie and how somebody who loves her must have given it to her. And that's when he sort of gives up on her, that she's not going to be with me because she's wearing this necklace. And eventually he noticed she's taken the necklace off but obviously they do make a lot in the book about how conflicted she is of what she has to do versus what she feels about Bond. And you get the real sense that she's this tortured character who really had no good option.
And we get a couple of moments where, like the one with, where Bond is talking. I've lost my train of thought. I'll just pause here a second and get it back. Had it. I literally had it right before. You know, you're fine. Because the second one I know. Oh. So the first when Bond is recuperating at the villa.
Yes.
The whole comment about how you're a better, man than anybody, and
Yes, even if only
get-
this much is left
yes,
of you.
you
When
get
you
that
look
little
back
bit.
on it, you
Yes.
get, okay, what she really means is, I'm doing a terrible thing, and I
but
do
I know
love you,
I
but
love
I
you.
know
You're a
what
good
I'm
man.
doing.
Yes. And then we get the very brief part where he's right next to her underwater, and she grabs his hand and holds him
Yeah.
and rubs it against her face right before she dies.
Yeah.
I think those are the two hints that are the letter in the movie, as opposed to what the letter in the book.
But I'm just guessing a lot. You could easily get through the movie and not really understand the depth of the conflict because
Yes.
it's sort of a footnote in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, the movie is great and it works fine,
Yeah.
right? And everything. But it is just a fascinating part about reading the book is
Right.
Ian Fleming spends a lot of time going through sort of the difficulty she's obviously having with this whole thing.
We then go to Bond talking to M on the phone. She reveals, obviously, Vesper had a boyfriend that was kidnapped by the organization behind Le Chiffre. She was blackmailed into helping him. And we get the direct line from the book, which was the last line of the book. The bitch is dead. So now Bond has become very cold, very distant, and it clearly this
Sets
whole
up
thing changed him.
everything else that happens.
Bond then checks the phone message, which I believe that Vesper conveniently left the phone. She probably did it on purpose.
Right.
And it mentions a Mr.
I guess
White.
that's her note in a sense.
Mentions a Mr. White. So now we cut to Mr. White arriving back at his house, which, by the way, this freaking house on the water in wherever, Italy or whatever.
So
Beautiful.
Becky said, I could live there.
Yeah. No kidding.
I mean, right on the water, mountains around the lake.
Yep.
I mean, just
Lovely.
fantastically beautiful.
Mr. White gets a call from Bond and then gets shot in the leg. He's crawling up his steps, and then Bond arrives with definitely not a Walter PPK. It's a big gun. He says the name's Bond, James Bond. This is the first time in this movie we get the James Bond theme to start the closing credits.
It's perfect. It just hits you right in the face. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It is the announcement. We've just ended the new James
Yes.
Bond.
Yeah. That's it. Casino Royale. Got a few trivialities. The parkour chase. This was the first full-on foot chase in a Bond movie.
Wow.
And I was like trying to think back, and it's like, oh, I guess that's right. That was the first foot chase.
Well, okay, so there's a stair up and down the stairs chase in the Eiffel Tower. I wouldn't call it a foot chase because it's more like,
I mean, at least
it's more like Roger Moore struggling to breathe still.
and the stuntman doing most of the running.
Yes.
Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman. I'm sorry. This was the first story based on an Ian Fleming work since The Living Daylights.
And so, your next note. I see. Go for it.
Because Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman were never able to secure the rights to Casino Royale, but MGM United Artists finally got them in 1999. So they had the rights finally to do this. And if you listen to our bonus episode that's coming out soon of Casino Royale 1967, you'll get a little more background on that.
And you should definitely listen to that.
Wait till you hear the companion beverage, friends.
Cyanide.
Close.
The good thing about listening to that episode is then you will not have to actually watch the movie like we did. We will save you all the trouble of watching the movie. But it was interesting. So Ian Fleming must have sold the rights to that first book before Cubby Broccoli came along.
Yes.
And so they couldn't make it, but they must have made a movie before whoever bought the rights to that made a movie. And then they're like, oh, now what are we going to do?
Yep.
So they couldn't play it straight, I guess, because it wouldn't. Although the people who did Never Say Never Again probably, and we haven't watched it yet, probably did a much better thing, which was let's just make a Bond movie.
Right.
You know?
Two completely different situations between Casino Royale and Never Say Never Again. And we'll talk about them. We'll talk about Casino
'Cause it's
Royale
Thunderball.
in our bonus episode.
Yeah.
And then when we get to Never Say Never Again, we'll talk about that.
I haven't. I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I've never seen it.
I'm going to go on record right now and say it's a much better movie than the 1967 Casino Royale.
I believe you. I 100% believe you. Henry Cavill and Sam Worthington both auditioned for this movie. Henry Cavill, known for Superman, The Witcher. He did the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, which is kind of underrated in my opinion. Sam Worthington, best known as, I believe it's Jake Sully from Avatar. He's like the main guy in Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's from, I believe, New Zealand or Australia.
Just so you know, Avatar, a movie I saw in the theater, and then we watched it fairly recently when other Avatars were coming out. Not as good as I remember.
Have you seen the second Avatar?
I haven't seen the second one.
I really liked the second Avatar. Way better than I thought I was going to.
See, the first one, when I watched it again, it's formulaic.
It is.
It's the CGI, I think, was supposed to be so great, but the actual story was so cheesy and on the nose that I was like, oh my gosh, It'll not never, really that good.
They'll never be my favorite James Cameron movie. My favorite James Cameron movie is always going to be True Lies, which we may cover someday because it's very Bondy.
But not Titanic.
Oh, Titanic's amazing, but it's not True Lies.
Yeah. Titanic made me wish I had studied figure drawing.
Nice. With lovely ladies.
Are there any other kind, Mike?
CGI was used for various parts of this movie, but it was pretty subtle. Just some examples. The tarmac scene, the Skyfleet plane, they just took like a 747 or something, but then they enhanced it to look like a bigger plane.
I wondered what they used because it didn't look like any plane. I mean, that's the weird thing. Like, we've all been to the airport and seen planes, and it didn't look like any plane I've ever seen. Yeah. Although the fascinating thing is, when normally you fly domestically. When you see a 747 next to other planes, it's gigantic, right? So this was even amazingly large.
Here's the interesting one. Mm-hmm. Whenever Le Chiffre's eye bled, that was CGI.
Oh, they didn't just put a red eye drop in or anything?
Nope, that was CGI.
Oh, that's fascinating.
But you never could tell. It was good.
No, it was good.
It's not like surfing in Iceland on a giant wave. And like we already discussed, the collapsing building, that there was a lot of CGI in that scene, including the sunlight.
Fantastically good. Yeah. Because I could not tell. Unlike the ice ski racer thing falling over the edge of the cliff and looking like claymation.
Your favorite scene. We talked about most of the book stuff. The only other thing, I don't know if we specifically mentioned it, in the book, the game is Baccarat. And
I mean, they spend a whole chapter explaining the rules of Baccarat in the book. It is pretty interesting.
And for me, Hold'em is a much better game.
Whatever.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I have. Final thoughts and ratings. I'm going to let you go first because honestly, you have yet to really tell me where you're going to land on this one. You probably know exactly where I'm going to land on this one. So I want to hear where you land on this one.
Well, let me do the things I liked.
Okay.
I mean, I liked a lot of it. It's very suspenseful beginning to end, right? I mean, a lot happens. It really never goes into any kind of lull. Things I didn't like, the crane sequence.
Oh my God.
It's distracting to me how unrealistic that is. I know it's insane because a guy pulling, a defibrillator out of his car, that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But a guy running on a crane and releasing the weight and the crane not collapsing, or waiting at the bottom of the crane for the guy to come down and just calling the police and go, hey, that guy's up on top of the crane. That bothered me. This is how my mind works, Mike. I hate to tell you.
I've known you long enough now that I understand.
The interesting thing I will say about this is it feels like a whole different thing than all the earlier movies. I know it has all these little pieces of a James Bond movie, but in a way, and in a sense, I think we have to give credit to The Bourne Identity and some other movies that came out in that 4 years between Tomorrow Never Dies and this. But it is like, look it up.
Okay. I'm curious. I guess you're probably right that The Bourne Identity did come out before this.
I mean, the cinematography and directing in this is 1,000 times different.
Yeah.
And in a sense, way better and more realistic. Or more graphic and gritty. Right? Then those, if you look at Tomorrow Never Dies, it's highly produced.
Yeah.
Every scene is highly
Yes.
produced. This has outdoor scenes, it has fights, it has more graphic violence. It's almost like a different thing than all the other movies that have come before this, where he's this suave guy and all this stuff. But it's fantastically good.
Yeah.
And very entertaining.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig is very good at James Bond. He's
most
very
certainly
good
not
actor.
James Bland.
He's not.
What's funny is doing all the rewatches of it, it's like he has that cheekiness of Moore. He has that physicality of Brosnan and Connery.
But it doesn't come off as forced.
Yes.
He has a very realistic type of acting. And you probably have to give a lot of credit to the directing, the cinematography, and all these things, because it just looks more real.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's in these fake situations like Pierce Brosnan did in the very last one.
Well,
right?
we should talk about the director is Martin Campbell. The only other Bond movie he did was Goldeneye, which was also kind of a soft reboot of James Bond.
It was. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's probably number one, right? I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. And I remember seeing it and just being sort of blown away by how good it is. But in other ways, I almost feel like it's a whole separate thing than all the ones we've seen. That's what's weird about ranking it in relation to the others. It's almost a whole different thing. And I guess part of that is if you make a movie series this many years in a series, right, they are going to all be different things and products of their own era.
You have to reinvent. But again,
I didn't even mention how good the music is in this movie.
Yes.
The music and the way they blend the theme song into it, but then put the Bond theme at the end, and the music is really, really well done in this movie. It's a really good movie.
Wow.
All right,
I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to cry with Charlie's comments there because I wasn't sure. I didn't know how you felt about it for sure. I was like,
because I'm an old guy and I like
think
those
he
old
likes
ones.
it, but I don't know if he loves it. So they took a Bond book story, they plopped it down in there, and then they added everything they needed to add from the movies.
Yeah.
What I liked absolutely everything about this. There's nothing I didn't like.
Even the crane.
Oh, I don't care about the crane.
I've lost
waiting.
all respect for you.
Of course.
This
is a 5-star movie.
Your understanding of physics.
Yeah.
I'm just, Mike, I don't know.
Of course this is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Of course this is number 1 for me. I'm not even going to pretend that there's anything better after this. This is my favorite Bond movie of all time. This is one of my 10 favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love this movie, start to finish. I've watched it 4 times in the last 2 weeks to prepare for this and have never hesitated to watch it any time. We watched it with my in-laws on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd ever seen it, and my father-in-law loved it, and that just made me so happy. I have no complaints about it. I love it from start to finish. And like I said, it takes the Bond book and adds Bond movie elements.
Right.
That's the way I feel about it.
It does.
So yeah.
It does. Actually, this is one of those things where I can't, a lot of times you read the book and you say the book's better than the movie, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, what I would say is not that the book's better than the movie. There are elements of the book that I really enjoy
Yes.
that aren't in the movie.
Yes.
And there are elements of the movie I enjoy that aren't in the book,
Yes.
right? Both of them are very, very good.
Yep.
And they're different, but it isn't like one is vastly superior to the
Right.
other. They are both good in their own way, but they take the story and they take all the elements of the story, do a great job depicting them, and then add the things you need visually in a movie
Yes.
and update the things that you need in a modern version of something that was written in the 1950s.
Yes. I agree. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I absolutely love this movie. I'll love it till the day I die. My favorite movie podcast, 70mm, covered this movie. So I actually have artwork on my wall for this
Nice.
movie, even though we don't have Bottled and Bond artwork. We'll see if we can get something for that. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing. It's just so fun. It's so good. It's so fun. The
Yeah.
2.5 hours flies by. It's the longest. I think it's the longest Bond movie to
Is
this
it really?
point. But it's not going to be the longest Bond movie,
Okay.
which is kind of
But
crazy.
it doesn't drag
No.
anywhere.
Definitely not.
Right? Everything serves the purpose.
Yep.
Like I said, I think the music is great. The
Yes.
theme song's good, and they do a
So let's go
great
to
job
that.
of weaving the theme song.
Yes.
Which in the best Bond movies, they do a good job of weaving the
Yes.
theme song into the music
Yep.
throughout the movie.
So let's talk about that. The theme
All right.
song, because that's the other ranking we do. Where
That's
do you put
good.
the theme song?
It's not going to be number one, but I
Okay.
like it. Let me look at my list here.
Because I believe we both have the same number one right now. We both have A View to a Kill at number one.
A View to a Kill is still. I'll go back to A View to a Kill is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
This song, outside of the opening credits of the movie, is not as good as A View to a Kill is as a song outside the opening theme song to the
Okay.
movie. But I think it's very, very good. I'm going to put it as number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I completely accept that. The song for me is also number 1.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, I just came to that. Because I do love A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
I think A View to a Kill is done really well within the movie.
Yeah.
But this one is also done really well within the movie.
It is. And the opening credits are fantastic on this.
Big Chris Cornell fan.
Yeah.
I love Chris Cornell.
He is very good. And it's got a very nice minor key
Yeah.
feel to it, which makes you feel like there's suspense coming. And it's a very good song, and it works perfectly in the way they did the opening credits. And
Yeah.
so part of my like of the song might also be how good I think the opening credits are with all of the playing card theme.
Oh, I think the
Going
credits
through
are
there.
amazing.
The opening credits are really, I mean, they're visually very good because you're definitely watching the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're simple but great.
Yep.
Well done.
I agree. That's it.
All right.
Our next episode, Quantum of Solace, barring our very special bonus episode.
Which is extremely loosely based on a short story.
I have yet to read the short story.
Oh,
so
you
I'm gonna
have to
I will.
read it.
Yeah, I will be reading
Yes.
it, but I have yet to read it. So we'll
The first
see.
thing I've read that you haven't read,
That's amazing.
but it's
But do you remember the movie?
so loosely based, not much.
You know, the Countess Tracy has never seen Quantum of Solace. So
Okay,
this will be
good.
interesting.
Yeah, this will be good.
That'll do it. Thank you,
right.
Charlie.
Thank you, Mike.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bottled in Bond. If you'd like to send us a message, you can do so at bottledinbondpod@gmail.com. Till your next briefing, pour yourself a drink, light a smoke, and find yourself a spirited companion. Goodbye.